Motivate News on the hour, every hour.
The FBI admits it failed to properly investigate a warning that Florida school shooting suspect Nicholas Cruz might carry out an attack. Last month, a person close to the 19-year-old contacted the law enforcement agency to warn about his erratic behaviour, his love of guns and the potential of him conducting a school shooting. 17 people died in the massacre in Parkland. Noah Damiani was inside when it happened. He's upset the information wasn't acted upon.
I mean, I'm frustrated. I wish that they had acted. I mean, there were so many warning signs, like our community did our part and they failed us.
It's been revealed 13 Russians have been charged with attempting to interfere with US elections. Court documents suggest some of the accused posed as American citizens and made contact with people close to the Trump campaign. Oxfam's agreed to stop bidding for taxpayers' cash following a sexual exploitation scandal in Haiti. It has to prove to the government it can meet certain standards for safeguarding and protection. Our chief political correspondent John Craig has seen a statement from the International Development Secretary Penny Mordaunt.
She says, clearly Oxfam have a long way to go before they can regain the trust of the British public, their staff and the people they aim to help. And she says the actions and attitude of the organisation over the coming weeks will be critical.
Theresa May's held talks with the German Chancellor in Berlin. The Prime Minister reiterated the UK remains unconditionally committed to European security after Brexit. The UK arm of Toys R Us, which employs 3,000 people, could be facing administration. The retailer owes a tax bill of £15 million. In sport, Chelsea are just getting underway against Championship strugglers Hull as they look to avoid an FA Cup fifth round upset. It's 0-0 between Leicester and Sheffield United. That's the latest. I'm Elizabeth Secker.
Hello. If you're after a dry day this weekend, then Saturday is your better bet. Sunday looks a bit glum for many of us. A lot of cloud, rain and drizzle, but it will slowly be turning a bit milder. Not that mild out there at the moment, though. Temperatures, especially across the east, falling under clear skies. Further west, there's more clouds, some showery rain clearing Northern Ireland, spreading across Scotland with snow on the hills, and eventually turning up across northwest England, parts of north and west Wales. Ahead of that, as I said, dry and clear. Towns and cities getting close to freezing. Certainly in more rural spots over the Midlands, eastern England, there will be a frost. Not quite as cold across the south, a bit more cloud here. So it's a chilly start to Saturday, a damp start for parts of northwest England, and there'll be this band of cloud drifting over the Midlands into northeast England through the day. One or two showers, and we'll keep showers in the northwest of Scotland, still some snow over the Highlands. But for most, Saturday's a dry and a bright day. Could be some fog around first thing, but that should clear, and as well as that bit of frost first thing. But then by the afternoon, temperatures up to 6 to 9 degrees in the sunny spells with light winds. Shouldn't feel too bad at all. Now those temperatures will fall sharply again on Saturday evening if you're heading out. A few showers over northern England, one or two through central Scotland, but for most it's a dry night until the next band of rain arrives. That pushes into Northern Ireland through the early hours, keeping the temperatures up here. Elsewhere, again, close to freezing. And again, there could well be some mist and some fog patches forming. It may take a while to clear across parts of the east. We could also see some brightness on Sunday morning across the east, whereas elsewhere, the cloud thickens, the rain and the drizzle moves in. Quite a dreary Sunday afternoon for most, but notice the rain doesn't really reach East Anglia in the southeast until late in the day. For many, though, it's dull and it's drab, but it is turning milder. Temperatures more widely up to double digits in the west, and that'll lead into a mild and damp start on Monday morning, it looks like. So the weekend again in summary, most of us dry on Saturday, damp on Sunday, slowly turning a bit milder, but there are signs it may well turn colder again next week, and there's more information on that on the Met Office website.
Motivate News on the hour, every hour.
Good evening to you all and welcome along to Motivate Radio. This is the first edition, shall we say, especially on the new site. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've not checked it out, the address was flying across the screen earlier on. The old site, the old site address, www.motivateradiofm.co.uk, will redirect you to the new site. If not, you can tap in www.motivateradiofm.com. A lot of hard work's gone into that, I will say, and once I get to know how to use it, which will be over this weekend, hopefully, on a bit of TeamViewer with the webmaster himself. You can see him there in the chat room at the top, moderating for us this evening. Once I get to know how to use it, it should be absolutely fantastic. This is now the home of the Dragons, right? We're going to bring it all back to one place, and this is where it all started. This is what Motivate Radio is about. So this is what we're going to do. Now, I've been asked for I've been asked for a tune to open with tonight by Mr. Wayne Gray, our very own Wayne Gray. He's on the Facebook live feed. He's also, I think, in the Motivate Radio chat room. You do have to register for the site. Now, this site is now available for anybody on any platform, any phone, Windows, iPhone, Android, any computer, any laptop, Firefox, Mozilla, Google, you name it. It's available on absolutely every platform. So we're hoping once the live feed goes off, we should, if we can, get a few people in. Now, you do have to join the site, like I say. It's a username, email address, which comes in handy, actually, because we'll be notifying you via emails of our further upcoming events to keep it off of Facebook for obvious reasons. So lots and lots of things going on again. The website has been launched today, actually, just in time for the Friday Night Live Rant show with myself, which is very, very good. And thank you very much to the webmaster. Give us all the ones in either chat room if you can, just to give a massive thumbs up and a thanks. The man is anonymous and doesn't wish to be named for obvious reasons, because of what goes on and what we stand for, and I'll say no more on that at this particular moment in time. So we've been asked for a great tune that I'd forgotten about, actually, and it isn't because I normally listen to it, because I don't think anybody normally listens to it unless you actually watch the film. So this one goes out to our Mr. Gray, Wayne Gray. Great suggestion, my friend, and here we go. Yes, the home of the Dragons, now brought to you by Enter the Dragon theme tune, Bruce Lee. Wow.
Let's get motivated.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, time for some headlines from the news this week, and we start off with... Oh, wrong button, never mind. Mass shooting in Florida in a school leaves 17 people dead. An ex-British soldier who fought IS is charged with a terror offence. A French girl of 11 is not a child, lawyers for 29-year-old man accused of sex abuse say. A recruitment consultant is fired for telling lorry driver he can't have an interview for a job 8 miles from his home because he is British. Brexit news now. Nigel Farage says we need to wake up to who he is. Nigel Farage slams George Soros' attempt to stop Brexit. And again, Nigel Farage, a very bad idea. Farage reveals fresh plot to stop Brexit by giving 16-year-olds a vote. Wow. Brexiteer artists come out of the closet with John Cleese, Sir Michael Caine and Roger Daltrey among creative 4% who back Leave. Sadie Kant blocks plans for new sports block at Winston Churchill's school. And a charity fronted by former Labour Foreign Secretary David Miliband hushed up 37 allegations of fraud, sex, abuse and bribery. Just get rid of that ad piece of crap again, look. Go away. Theresa May calls for new laws to ban the abuse of politicians on social media. Can you believe the front of these people? So back to our first story, the mass shooting in Florida. I've got some things to say, as you probably well expect about this. I don't know who carried it out and why it was done. I'm just about to read it to you now. A shooting at a Florida high school has left 17 people dead, the local sheriff has confirmed. The suspected shooter has been detained. A lone attacker opened fire outside Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, near the end of the school day, then proceeded inside and continued shooting. He left 17 people dead and at least a dozen injured. Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel confirmed to the media. 12 of the deceased victims were found inside the school building, 2 were found just outside and 1 in the street nearby. 2 more people have succumbed to their wounds in the hospital. The injured victims were taken to Broward Heath Health Medical Centre and Broward Health North Hospital. You see, now I'm going to say this, our thoughts and feelings go out to everyone affected by this, but I must say, at a particular moment in time, what we deal with in any eventuality of some shooting that goes on, they instantly call for gun control before they will give their thoughts and feelings to the families involved, to the people that have lost their lives, and to the people going through all sorts of torment and hell. The first thing they scream for is gun control. Now, I'm not too sure whether that guy was probably paid to do that. I don't know. Maybe they're going to look after his family. I don't know. Just these are my thoughts and feelings and my opinions only, ladies and gentlemen, okay? But it seems very, very, very strange, don't you think, that every time there's a shooting going on in America, they instantly call for gun control. Now, we do know, and those of you out there at the moment that have done a little bit of research will know that more guns equals less crime. It's as simple as that. Now, if they had armed guards in the school, and I do believe actually they did have got armed guards in the school, that still didn't stop what went on. Gun control, really, he was 16 years old apparently and went and bought an AR-15 assault rifle. He's not able to do other things, but apparently he can go and buy a gun. Well, listen, maybe the age restriction should be changed, but certainly no gun control is needed in America. And whoever's calling for this, there's a reason behind it. To remove your Second Amendment from your Constitution would be an absolute mistake, as you can tell by what's going on in good old Blighty at the moment, because we are unarmed, we are defenceless, and literally at the whims of politicians, etc. We can't defend ourselves in any way. And, although it's as horrible as it is, and it is an absolutely despicable, disgusting act of cowardice to walk into a school, even being a pupil or what, we've seen this quite a few times. No one talks about the smoking and the drink and the driving related deaths that kill thousands upon thousands of Americans every year. This doesn't even scratch the surface of that, and still they want more gun control. We're going to move on from that. I've got no doubt at all. If you want to, you can call in. We're going to get the phone lines open in a little bit. Let me just go through the articles that I've seen this week so far. We'll have a little chat about that. Now, I will say that any of you that are trying to get into the website at the moment, you have to actually make an account on the website. That then allows you to jump in the chat room. You don't have to try and sign into the chat room, which was a major problem before. We have got a moderator in there, so that again should be seen as what it is. If anyone's going to try and make any trouble in there this evening, you will be booted out, because that is what we do to keep a nice equilibrium in there. And if you're on the left or you're someone else there, you can quite easily come in there and have a debate. That's not an issue at all. If you're going to start coming in there throwing insults and doing what you do, you will be booted forthwith. So the new site, there's a lot of stuff going on, by the way, in the background, again, that we're trying to work on. Once I learn how to use this site, I'll be posting from the site to Facebook. Facebook, then, when you click on the link, will bring you straight back over to the site, which is what we've always wanted. There's a blog page on there, there's a shop on there for the t-shirts, etc. All sorts of information about who we are and what we do. There's also, as the Dragons, obviously, there's also some pages there with information, your Law for Rebellion forms, all sorts of greatness at the moment. So again, a massive thank you and a shout out to the webmaster. And now I know why he calls himself that, because he is the webmaster. It's an absolutely fantastic site. Yes, it's only just been launched. There might be a few little problems here and there, but we're working to fix those. We're not we, actually. Him, the webmaster, is actually working very hard at the moment trying to fix that. So what we're trying to do at the moment, we've actually yes, we as the Dragons, but certainly Nathan and Ellie May have made a lot of regional groups. Okay, now that is not to cause any division. What we find most of the time is that people actually want to go on these demonstrations or these awareness days or to do something to do with the Dragons, but unfortunately don't have the money. They can't travel that far a distance. They can't do this. There's a lot of reasons as to why the numbers are very low. Okay, so what we're trying to do is empower the people of certain groups in certain boroughs, in certain towns and cities across this country to actually get together themselves and get out there on a bus ride for a couple of quid. You can get there, you can do what you got to do under the instruction, obviously, and watch for live everybody else. Just in case, listen, we don't need to, we don't want to be made to look stupid, obviously. If you don't know what you're doing, then obviously we've got to keep an eye on what goes on. And let me just reiterate on this. There's nobody at the top of the Dragons, all right? There are 3 guys there that are going to oversee and make sure this runs like clockwork. And at the moment, I'm seeing a lot of discourse, a lot of discord, should I say, on Facebook, with posts being put out moaning and moaning and moaning and moaning and moaning and moaning and moaning. Well, it's funny, because we're probably getting further ahead now than we've ever been. We're much more organised now. There's a Twitter feed going to go up that all the groups will be posting from their groups. When they do that, we'll go onto Twitter. So we're centralising ourselves again, and we're bringing the people together. Motivate Radio again will centralise and bring all of those people together. We're actually having some sort of group things going on Motivate Radio as well. So it is the home of the Dragons. Okay, so let me just get that out of the way. The site is absolutely fantastic. It is still being worked on as we speak, obviously. There are still things that need to go on. I need to learn how to use it properly, so that I can get in there and do what I need to do. There'll be a few other admins that are allowed, and that's where we're going, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, myself, Dave and Steve are not the leaders of anyone, all right? What we're trying to do is coerce. It's not even coerce. We're trying to, I can't think of the right word at the minute. We're trying to mobilise. We're trying to mobilise people, all right? And under our watchful eye and a bit of our knowledge and what goes on, and with our thoughts and feelings, we can actually get out there now in certain areas across our country and actually get something done. Imagine 10 awareness days going on the same day. Imagine these people just going out on a bus ride, or it's just up the road from their house. They can join it rather than travel the length and breadth of the country. Regional groups are a very, very good idea. They're not called divisions because division means something, and there was a little conversation again the other day that went on. So it's not about dividing anybody. It's about bringing people together in regional groups, that are actually going to do things in their areas. Okay, now if we find out there's an MP in someone's area that's done something they shouldn't have done, then those people will go there rather than everybody travel from everywhere around the country. They will go there and they will do what they have to do. All right, say no more on that, by the way, because you know, loose lips and all that. But yeah, Motivate Radio at the moment. You know, it is what it is. Motivate Radio has always been here. It's been here for 7 years, nearly 8 years now. Motivate Radio. All right, a lot of people have come through, a lot of people have passed by. A lot of people do agree, don't agree. They move on to different things and different political parties, etc., as we've seen. But it's always been here. And you know what? Consistency to me means everything. All right, loyalty and consistency. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, loyalty being one of the ones that you really need to hold on to. Loyalty means everything to me. Honour and loyalty. So with that out of the way, listen, when you should have got a pop-up that popped up, get notified from Motivate Radio. What that will do, in actual fact, is when you're on another site, you could be on Facebook. If we do something on Motivate Radio, you get a little bubble appear down at the bottom of your screen there, no matter what site you're on, and that will notify you that something's going on Motivate Radio. Come and have a look. If you want to have a look, have a look. Any page you visit on Motivate Radio again, you can open the page up. The music just starts playing. Now, I've got rid of all the housey, mixy, drum and bassy gear. We're going to play all sorts of genres all day long, every day, be it the 80s, 60s, 70s, 90s, noughties, all genres, all years. So there's something for everybody. And when you actually surf the site and you change pages and you do what you do, that music instantly starts playing. You don't have to press play, you don't have to do anything, okay? And when you do change the page, if you want to keep an eye on the chat, there's another little bubble that comes up down the bottom there. If you click that, it brings the chat room up on the page that you're in, all right? So, you know what? I have to take my hat off, literally, to the webmaster for what he's done. It is absolutely fantastic. It's everything we've ever wanted that has never ever been supplied by so many others that have tried to do the right thing and tried to help us out. This is absolutely beautiful. So anyway, on with the show. Massive shout out to the Facebook Live crew at the moment. Massive shout out to those people in Motivate Radio. Let me just take a little look and see how many are in there. Not a great deal at the moment, but that's because the live feed's on. I've just been told, actually, that if you refresh the page on Motivate Radio, you should see a live feed of me on Facebook on the radio. So if you want to watch it there and keep an eye on the comments that are coming through, or do whatever you want to do, then please refresh the page. And the live feed from Facebook is now over on Motivate Radio. Just make sure you press pause, obviously, on the bar player, because when you press play on the video, you're going to get some sort of, you know, badly dubbed Bruce Lee film. So let's just go with that one for the moment. Right, on to our second story this evening. An ex-British soldier who fought against IS, has been charged with a terror offence. Now, I can't understand for the fucking life of me what goes on here. A British man who fought against the Islamic State group in Syria has appeared at Westminster Magistrates Court charged with a terror offence. It is the first case of its kind in the UK. James Matthews, 43, who lives in Dalston in London, is a former British soldier. He is charged with having attended a place where training was provided for purposes connected to the commission or preparation of terrorism. His defence barrister, Joel Benathan, QC, told the court the allegation he faces is of attending a training camp as part of a group of people struggling to assist the Kurdish groups fighting against ISIS. So what they're seeing now then, obviously, is that the Kurds are terrorists themselves. Mr Matthews spoke in court to confirm his name and address and said that his plea would be not guilty. The magistrate said it was a very unusual case. You can fucking say that again. The first time that someone who fought against IS had been charged with a terror offence in these circumstances. Mr Matthews was granted bail and will appear next in the court and the Old Bailey on the 1st of March. I do believe there's a lot of posts going around Facebook at the moment to show a little bit of support for that man. In fact, show a lot of fucking support for that man. Because what a government actually do are penalise the people that fight against terrorists and then give the terrorists that come back to our country council houses, money, fucking de-radicalisation classes, etc, etc, etc. I mean, can you fucking see what's going on here? This is a travesty. A fucking travesty. And I, for one, actually can't believe that. I can't believe it. Absolutely and utterly. The words fucking fail me, ladies and gentlemen, and that's not very often that happens. James Jim Matthew was greeted by a crowd of supporters outside the court who turned out to voice their opposition to the charges against him, and fucking rightly so. Some of them were former volunteers who have fought against IS with the Kurds in Syria. There are dozens of people from Britain who have fought against IS in Iraq and Syria with the Kurds. Many have returned to the UK. Mr Matthews' charge is a landmark case. No, it's a bullshit case is what it is. His defence barrister, Joel Benathan, QC, said this is the first time terror legislation has been deployed to seek the conviction of someone who is assisting a group, the Kurds, who are also being assisted by the UK government. I mean, does it get any more fucked up than that? The phone lines will be open a little bit later on, and we'll get you calling in and have your say on that. And on to this really has just fucked me completely. A French girl of 11 is not a child. The lawyers for a 29-year-old man accused of sex abuse say. Lawyers defending a 29-year-old man accused of sexual abuse have argued that the alleged victim, an 11-year-old French girl, was not a child. The 29-year-old French man went on trial on Tuesday accused of sexually abusing a young girl who he met in the park in a Paris suburb. Defence lawyers say that the man and the girl had met in a park and the girl voluntarily followed him to an apartment and consented to intercourse. His team argued it was not rape and that we are not dealing with a sexual predator and a poor little faultless goose. They also claim their client, who was 28 at the time of the offence, thought the girl was over 15. The case has reignited a fierce debate on the age of sexual consent in France. France does not have a legal age under which a minor cannot agree to a sexual relationship, but the country's top court has ruled that children aged 5 and under cannot consent. The girl's family filed a complaint for rape in the town of Montmaganay, but prosecutors put the man on trial for sexual abuse of a minor under 15, concluding he had not used violence or coercion. French law defines rape as sexual penetration committed by violence, coercion, threat or surprise. Last year, French courts twice refused to prosecute men for the alleged rape of 11-year-old girls because prosecutors would not be able to prove coercion. The French government is currently drafting a bill to say that sex with children under a certain age is by definition coercive. She was 11 years and 10 months old, so nearly 12 years old. It changes the story, defence lawyer Mark Godarzen said Tuesday, so she is not a child. His colleague Sandrine Paris went further, claiming we are not dealing with a sexual predator on a poor little faultless goose. She said as soon as children have sexual expressiveness and you have an attitude of putting yourself in danger, then it doesn't necessarily mean that the person on the other side is a sexual predator. And let me just say this to you, I think we know where the guy comes from and who he is and why that's fucking happened. You know, listen, you've already seen it happen in our country. Up to 1 million children raped and groomed and trafficked at the hands of mainly Pakistani Muslim men. Okay, let's dispense with the Asian. If that's now spreading to France, Italy, Germany, Spain, you know, let's look at what goes on here. Wherever these people reside, there are child rapes and child sex and traffic and torture, etc., etc. I'm disgusted at that. I think anyone really that reads that story, that's in the Evening Standard, and that was 2 days ago. It's just absolutely disgusting, to be honest, that these people earn money defending somebody by saying ridiculous statements like that. And it is ridiculous. She's not a child. Really? At 12 years old, she's not a child. Fucking unreal. And on to the next one. A recruitment consultant has been fired for telling a lorry driver he can't have an interview for a job 8 miles from his home because he's British. Michael Fowler, 39, received an email from Bulgarian recruitment consultant Plamina Inovova telling him our positions exclude British candidates after he applied for a delivery driver vacancy near his home in Salisbury, Wiltshire. Sorry? What? Sorry? Our positions exclude British candidates when you're in fucking Britain. Are you for real? Recruitment agency Blue Global said it was completely shocked after it was shown the email from Mrs. Ivanova telling the lorry driver of 12 years that he couldn't apply despite the advert being for EU citizens with a good level of English. Blue Global said Miss Ivanova has now been sacked as a result of the incident. You see, what you got to wonder is how many other people probably went for a job and didn't get it, basically, because she's turned around and said, no, not for British. So what she's done is employed her own people from the European Union that are here in our country right now. You know what? We should blow up the tunnel. Boris Johnson wants to build a bridge. No bridge. Sorry. Let's go back to boats and hovercraft, shall we? Let's blow the tunnel. Should never have been built. To be honest, it's caused nothing but problems. We're not a member of the European Union. Down to the document FCO 30/1048. We're not a member of at all. That was hidden from the people. It's fraud and deception. You all know that. But these people use it to their advantage. And how many more drivers? What's the ride? Because I'm telling you, there'll be some more drivers out there coming out and saying, well, actually, that happened to me as well, with another foreign recruitment company, or from that company as well, or through that company as well. You know, look at how we're being fucking demonised here. Look at how we're being treated in our own country. Really? Like foreigners in our own country. It's absolutely disgusting as far as I'm concerned. The email read, hi Michael, are you British because our positions exclude British candidates? Kind regards. Plamina Ivanova, recruitment consultant. Mr. Fowler, who applied for the driving position on job site, Indeed, said that it was advertised for drivers to live and work in the EU. I was just gobsmacked, he said. I thought I must have read the job advert wrong, but I hadn't. I work for agencies all the time. I had applied on Indeed for this job, which said you had to be an EU citizen eligible to work in the UK and could speak English. 10 minutes later, I got the email saying, are you British? I didn't think too much of it at the time. I was taken aback and a bit shocked to apply for a job that's 8 miles from my house and not be able to go for it. You see, this is the thing, you know, we're constantly being told by the people on the news, actually, let's call them what they are, the fucking media whores on the news. We're told by these people, this is because of Brexit, that's because of Brexit, this is because of Brexit, that's because of Brexit. We haven't even fucking left yet. Can you imagine what it's going to be like when we actually finally leave? You know, and this has got nothing to do with anything else than discrimination. It is discriminatory, of course it is. You know, how else can you see that? It's discriminatory. I'm disgusted. And I'm just wondering how many more times that has happened in this country with people going for jobs to be told, actually, if you're British, you can't have it. Look at the BBC. You know, sorry, we just want ethnics and this, that, blah, you know, no whites may apply. Look at the landlords, Muslims only. You know, look at what goes on here with you. Come on, cast your mind back to the other stories, ladies and gentlemen. Fucking disgusting, it really is. And on to Nigel Farage. You know, you got to love the guy. Listen, I don't think he should have run away. He has worked tirelessly, I know that. I can't really take anything away from him. He has worked tirelessly to give us Brexit, although he didn't really actually give us Brexit, did he? It was David Cameron that actually said we need to hold a referendum. So, although he's worked very hard and pressured the government, yes, I understand. Should he have left UKIP, you know, when it was so great and the people wanted to leave and the support for UKIP would have been absolutely great? Do you think maybe he was paid off because the Tories and Labour needed him out the way with UKIP? They needed to destroy UKIP? Really? You know, come and look at the fucking picture here. Look at the bigger picture, right? But you got to hand it to the man. He says we need to wake up to who he is. Farage slams George Soros attempt to stop Brexit. You see, there's a lot of talk at the minute. Russians interfering in this and Russians interfering in that, and you know, I think you just heard on the news that I just played. So you know, certain Russian nationals are being blamed for interfering in the American presidential election. Well, hang on a fucking minute here. How many people at the moment, right now, are trying to scupper Brexit? And that means nothing. What did Obama say? What did Obama say? You'll be at the back of the fucking queue. You know, he's trying to make... What, that's not weighing in heavy on what we're doing in our country. That's got fuck all to do with them. This is ridiculous. Nigel Farage is calling for an investigation into George Soros after the billionaire donated £100,000 to pro-EU group Best for Britain, in addition to his original contribution of £400,000 to the Europhile campaign organisation. UKIP former leader Nigel Farage has called for a formal inquiry into billionaire George Soros after he donated a total of £500,000 to anti-Brexit group Best for Britain. Speaking on Fox News, Mr Farage claimed the media should concentrate on Mr Soros Foundation, Open Society, rather than Russian collusion in Western world politics. He said, I've been saying since 2011 that we all need to wake up to who George Soros is and how big his organisation is. His Open Society Forum has received $30 billion, not million, $billion. This is the biggest political organisation the world has ever seen. He has got an agenda, and there is nothing illegal about that, but he doesn't believe in what he calls nationalism, and I would call nation, state, democracy. Brexit was about saying we want to govern our own country and make our own laws. So far we've discovered about $1 million that he's spent on various organisations that want to overturn the Brexit result. I suspect that that's the tip of the iceberg if you really examine the money this man is spending across the whole of Europe and America to push his agenda, which excuse me, which is to get rid of the nationalist state and to encourage mass migration. I'm just saying to people, in an era when much of the media is obsessing about Russian collusion, if ever there was an investigation needed into just what exactly has Open Society done over the course of the last few years, then now is certainly what it needs to be. Mr. Soros hit out a criticism of him and his decision to back Remain, saying, I'm happy to take the fight to those who have tried to use a smear campaign, not arguments, to prop up their failing case. He denounced toxic attacks on him and said momentum must be maintained of the Remain debate. He wrote in the Mail on Sunday, I consider Brexit a tragic mistake. Brexit is a lose-lose proposition both for Britain and for Europe. Politically, Europe without Britain will be weakened in its ability to defend and promote democratic values. George Soros. Really? You know, it's not like people don't know what he's about. Actually, they probably don't even know what George Soros is about, to be quite honest with you. You know, not like we do, at least. And I think you'll find there's plenty of us listening at the moment that know that name and know exactly what he stands for. We know what that man is. Wouldn't it be great, and isn't it great, that Nigel Farage has mentioned that to bring it to the forefront, like we did with the Fabian Society meeting with Sadiq Khan being a Fabian. Oh, did you see that, by the way? I shared a post the other day on John Russell, and there was something else that came up, a video. Someone posted a video, and it was about this debate thing going on. And apparently on that day, it was said to the news and other people he shouldn't be a London mayor because he's a Muslim. No way on earth did anybody say that. So you see what these people do to smear certain groups and people trying to do something different. All right? He shouldn't be London mayor because he's a fucking Fabian. Not because he's a fucking Muslim. It's got nothing to do with it. They brought skin colour into it straight away. They brought religion into it straight away. And why is that? To demonise the people going up against him. That's why. No other reason. No other reason at all. Excuse me. And on to more Brexit news from Nigel Farage. Yeah, we're gonna get to a little bit of that in a minute. Sorry, I'm just checking that I'm not gone too far yet. A very bad idea. Farage reveals a fresh plot to stop Brexit by giving 16-year-olds a vote. Now, I mean, why the fuck would you want to do that? You want to do that because they're coming out of schools, they're about to go into college and university with this fucking leftist agenda being pumped and drilled into their brains. Who do you think they're going to vote for? You know, I'm not even going to bother with that. I'm not going to bother with that because you know as well as I do. And this is beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. Brexiteer artists come out of the closet with John Cleese, Sir Michael Caine and Roger Daltrey among creative 4% who back Leave. And I've actually got a video of Michael Caine. So give me a second. Let me play that and I'll be right back.
I'm in favour of Brexit, actually, because I'd rather be a poor master of my own fate than a rich servant of someone else's. I'm in favour of Brexit.
Great man. You know what I've got to say? Isn't it funny? You know, see, to go against the grain takes a lot of bollocks, really. You know, anyone can stand with the left and be with the left and do what they want to do because that's quite easy to do. I've equated it to roller skating downhill on tarmac, and we're roller skating uphill on stones. You know, it's not a very easy thing to do, and I fucking applaud these people here for coming out. You know, listen, they've earned their fortunes, they've done what they've done. They're all quite old, you see. They're all quite old. They know what goes on. Look at the younger lot. Look at the younger that want Remain. Look at the difference in between the morals and the scruples and the objectives. Look at them. Fucking beautiful people. Absolutely beautiful. So, they are unlikely advocates for divorce from the European Union, but a minority pro-Brexit group of artists have decided to come forward about their views on the referendum after being shunned by friends. Actors for Brexit began in a Wetherspoons in Camden, North London. Wetherspoons, where politics used to be talked about in a pub until they fucking closed them all down. Founding member Minik Govinda, 55, told the Times, "We are the 4% in the cultural sector. Maybe there is slightly more, we don't know. People are worried that they may not get work. Their names may get dropped from commissions or galleries. We hope now that others may come out of the closet." Well, you see, there's the problem. Because, again, you know, with certain groups out there, if you're found to be a member of a certain group, if someone goes through if you go for a job interview maybe, and they go through your Facebook page and see, oh, you've shared an EDL post, you've shared a Britain First post, you've shared something, you've shared an Anne-Marie Waters or a Tommy Robinson post, you won't get the job. You see? It's the same for these people here. And if they want to keep that coin rolling in like they do, then why do you think then that they just run along with the leftist agenda? It's exactly the fucking same. People are worried they may not get work. Their names may get dropped from commissions or galleries. You know, really? So it's no different. And we wonder why the celebrities won't speak out. Well, now we fucking know, don't we, obviously. A survey conducted by the Creative Industries Federation discovered that 96% of members disagreed with the Brexit referendum result. Many of the cultural world stars have even come forward to express their concerns about a post-Brexit Britain. But actors including John Cleese, Sir Michael Caine, the Who rocker Roger Daltrey, and novelist Dreda Say Mitchell, 52, are the small minority that have openly decided to fight for the other corner. Author of The Woman in Black, Susan Hill, 76, has spoken in the past about how her friends called her a racist, a Little Englander, and distanced themselves from her for her decision to leave the EU. The artist who formed the fledgling group, Michael Lightfoot, 41, told The Times that several members had faced similar experiences. He said, "Most of our friends are Remain supporters, and there was a substantial chunk that have turned into monsters. They have become hysterical about it. I've lost an awful lot of friends. I have even had hate mail." There is this little phenomenon of closet Brexiteers. It is one thing to have different views and another to feel that you can't actually express them. I think there are an awful lot of people in the arts community. They're institutionalised to this idea that you have to play along with certain ideologies to get funded. Meanwhile, Mr Govinda, an administrator and visual arts producer, described the response on social media as toxic. He also said that those in support of Brexit were labelled as xenophobic, adding, "This is the terrible stereotyping of the 17.4 million people who voted to leave." When the referendum result came out, a lot of fellow artists accused me of siding with the likes of EDL and UKIP, and that my vote was a vote for racism. There was a lot of harshness. Well, I'm glad they felt that, because we feel it every day, don't we, ladies and gentlemen? We see it and feel it every day from the vicious left, do we not? Silencing our debate, silencing our opinions, silencing our freedom of thought and our ideas, and our vocal, our vocal speech. We want to talk about things. These people don't want to talk about it. They want to shut it fucking down. Anti-fascist. That's what they're supposed to be. When in actual fact, the closed down debate is fascism in its entirety. So you tell me what goes on. And the media and everybody else runs with that narrative. And what hope have we got then? Except for what we're doing now. Maybe. You know, I certainly, it wasn't about racism for me. It was about sovereignty. It was about running our own country. It was about being in control of our own destiny. It's about being in control of our borders, making our own laws. You know, of course immigration came into it, but that wasn't number one. Of course for other people it might have been number one. They didn't even know about sovereignty. Well, I'm in a lucky position. I know a little bit more than other people may do then, or some other people may do, out of the 17.4 million that voted to leave. What a crazy situation. It's disgusting, actually. You know, and that's fine. It's absolutely fine. They can mask up. We see them at Dover, didn't we? With nails hanging out of lumps of wood, going against all sorts of people. You know, that's absolutely fine. Throwing bottles of piss and glass bottles and all sorts. Who got arrested? The right got arrested. For defending themselves or retaliating. The left never get arrested. In fact, I lie. We've seen a few get arrested, but nothing on the likes of what we've seen on what we perceive to be, if you're going to be put into a box, the right. So that's that. Now I've got to play you something. This was passed to me today, actually, and I'm actually quite surprised I've not seen this. Absolutely fantastic. You know, you wonder why we wanted to arrest Sadiq Khan, right? It is because he's a Fabian, but it's because he has ties to terrorism, and we know that. This, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to upload it after this show. If you haven't seen it, this is going to fucking blow you away. I swear to God, and it will fucking blow you away.
Comments. Does my right honourable friend agree that it is the duty of all members of this House to condemn without caveat all extremism and never to share a platform with any extremist?
I think my honourable friend is absolutely right. If we are going to condemn not just violent extremism, but also the extremism that seeks to justify violence in any way, it is very important that we do not back these people and we do not appear on platforms with them. And I have to say, I am concerned about Labour's candidate as Mayor of London, who has appeared again and again and again. The leader of the Labour Party, is saying it's disgraceful. Let me tell him. Right, so, Suleiman Ghani, the Honourable Member for Tooting, has appeared on a platform with him 9 times. This man supports IS. He even shared a platform. Well, Mr. Speaker, I think they are shouting down this point because they don't want to hear the truth. Mistake about who they appear on a platform with. We're not always responsible for what our political opponents say, but if you do it time after time after time, it is right to question your judgment.
You know what, just for good measure, I'm going to play that again, only because the volume was a little bit low, so bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to play that for you again and turn the volume up, alright?
Comments. Does my right honourable friend agree that it is the duty of all members of this House to condemn without caveat all extremism and never to share a platform with any extremist?
I think my honourable friend is absolutely right. If we are going to condemn not just violent extremism, but also the extremism that seeks to justify violence in any way, it is very important that we do not back these people and we do not appear on platforms with them. And I have to say, I am concerned about Labour's candidate as Mayor of London, who has appeared again and again and again. The leader of the Labour Party, is saying it's disgraceful. Let me tell him. Right, so, Suleiman Ghani, the Honourable Member for Tooting, has appeared on a platform with him 9 times. This man supports IS. He even shared a platform. Well, Mr. Speaker, I think they are shouting down this point because they don't want to hear the truth. Mistake about who they appear on a platform with. We're not always responsible for what our political opponents say, but if you do it time after time after time, it is right to question your judgment.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, even David Cameron, a nice little bit of evidence actually. I've downloaded it obviously for obvious reasons. That's what a nice bit of evidence. You know, to have David, that's probably the only truthful fucking thing that man's ever said in his life. Do you know that? But wow, what a great thing! And to even to be pointed out in the House of Commons like that, for me, is fucking priceless, to be honest. So this, I'm just rolling on to a story here. Sadiq Khan has blocked plans for a new sports block at Winston Churchill's school. So Winston Churchill's former school has been dealt a blow by Sadiq Khan over plans for a sports block. The mayor has blocked Harrow School from constructing a state-of-the-art sports building because it would have encroached on protected green space. Now, I'm just wondering, actually, someone around the area put him for a fucking mosque in the same area and watch him go for that. You see, this is the subversion, ladies and gentlemen. This is what this man's doing. Can you not see what's going on? This man should not be Mayor of London. It's as simple as that. Sir Winston's alma mater, which educated 6 other British Prime Ministers as well as actors Benedict Cumberbatch and Lawrence Fox, wanted to overhaul its campus with a 7,300 square metre sports block, science buildings and a games area and car park. The sports facilities would have been shared with the local community, and children from primary and secondary schools would have benefited. However, part of the development which has been approved by Harrow Council, ladies and gentlemen, by Harrow Council, would have been built on metropolitan open land, owned by the school, but largely undeveloped. The Mayor's new London plan gives this type of land the same protection as that given to the Greenbelt, and Mr Khan said that the sports building should be built on the existing site rather than anywhere else. He said, protecting London's precious green spaces is one of my top priorities. I absolutely support the school's ambitions to expand its sporting facilities, and their plans to open them up to the local community are to be commended. However, I'm clear that expansion of this kind must not encroach on open green space, which is one of the capital's most important and cherished assets, nor in this case is it necessary. Well, I think you just heard what I just said there. It's actually owned by the school, but hasn't been developed. It's owned by the school. So what fucking right has he got to wade in yet again and deny the people what they want? This fucking man's got to go. Listen, the paperwork's in. Don't you worry. The paperwork is in. Lots and lots of people submitted that paperwork. If they don't do what we want them to do, then other plans are afoot, ladies and gentlemen. And if you sign up to the Motivate Radio website, up to our mailing list, which you will have to put a current email address in, you'll be notified of what goes on far away from Facebook. All right? Far away from Facebook. This isn't finished. Sadie can't. This is not fucking finished. Anyway, on to the next one. And this is terrible, really. But again, Labour again, you see. Charity fronted by former Labour Foreign Secretary David Miliband hushed up 37 allegations of fraud, sex abuse and bribery. Is there any fucking surprise there, really? They're all at it, ladies and gentlemen. They're all at it. Government ministers froze funding to a charity led by David Miliband after it silenced 37 sex abuse, fraud and bribery allegations it has been claimed. The International Rescue Committee, which is headed by the former Labour Foreign Secretary, was given millions in taxpayers' cash before the allegations were made. A team from the IRC was sent to probe claims of wrongdoings in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Yet a leaked report from the Department of International Development shows the funding to the charity was cut after direct reporting of sexual harassment and fraud. A DFID spokesman told The Sun DFID became aware of serious allegations relating to this programme in August of 2016. The department acted swiftly to ensure the reported misconduct was fully and comprehensively addressed by the IRC and relevant authorities. Mr Miliband left politics and joined the IRC in 2013, shortly after losing the Labour leadership election to his brother Ed. He remains in the post today. He is mentioned by name in the report, although there is no suggestion he is involved in any alleged wrongdoing. Although it is not established when any alleged wrongdoing occurred, DFID was made aware of the claims in 2016 during Mr Miliband's tenure at the IRC. A source then told them the government was aware of this. They withheld money because of the allegations, so they certainly knew about some of them. It's completely wrong. The charity has tried to cover it up to the public. I have seen the Oxfam story, but there are still others trying to hide it. In the financial year to September 2016, DFID gave $92 million to the IRC, making up 64% of all the UK-based donations to the group. In 2015, $76 million was given by DFID to the charity. A sum of $5.4 million in taxpayers' money was recovered, although exactly how or what was spent, what that was spent on, has not been revealed. The IRC's own records claim the humanitarian crisis in Syria, the reconstruction programme in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and providing humanitarian assistance to refugees in Greece were among the reasons for the boost in funding from 2015 to 2016. Among some of the projects the charity embarked on in the Democratic Republic of Congo was a girls' education programme that aimed to help up to 1 million of the world's poorest girls improve their lives for education. The IRC's money was frozen following a number of allegations, and the charity's Ethic and Compliance Unit arrived in Africa to investigate 24 cases. Upon their arrival, a further 13 cases were opened. Some investigations are thought to be ongoing. And last but not least, I'm trying to get rid of this ad blocker piece of crap here. Let me just do that. I don't want to allow ads. Theresa May says that new laws need to be introduced to stop people picking on politicians. And is it any wonder, really, you know, when you've got all sorts of people out there, you know, with Soros and, you know, Sadiq Khan and these other fucking people out there, Diane Abbott for one, the racist Diane Abbott. You know, is it any wonder, really, while she's trying to stop the online abuse of politicians? So again, your freedom of speech is being curtailed, it's being shut down, it's being stopped, because what they want to do in actual fact is just have a free reign without any condemnation, you know, without any criticism, without anything really. That's what these people want. They just want to run roughshod all over you, ladies and gentlemen, because they believe that's their right to do so. And I think it's absolutely terrible. So the mass shooting in Florida, the ex-British soldier that fought against IS is now on a terrorist charge. A French girl of 11 is told she's not a girl in a rape case, and it is a Muslim by the looks of it. Driver's been turned down for being British in Britain for a driving job. Unbelievable. We need to wake up to who Soros is, says Nigel Farage, and it's a real bad idea again for Nigel Farage to give 16-year-olds a vote. I didn't go into that one, I'm not going to. Out to the elderly fraternity at the moment, with the likes of John Cleese, Michael Caine, Roger Daltrey, and others actually that are standing up for the people, which is probably the best place to be, don't you think? Rather than go against the will of the people, because you'd all be fucking hung by your neck if we had our chance. And Sadiq Khan, again, you know, if that was a mosque, that man would have approved that, not a problem at all. And then obviously David Miliband, unbelievable. You know, again, hushing up allegations of fraud, sex abuse and bribery. They all do the same fucking thing, ladies and gentlemen. And as for Theresa May saying that we can't actually criticise anybody within the political spectrum online, it's just absolute fucking fiddle flap. Is it not? Fiddle flap and tosh. Oh yes, well, fucking what? Fucking dirty bastards. They're trying to have a free run. They don't want anyone hurling insults. You're terrible at your job, or you're going to get a nicking because you said I'm terrible at my job. But you are terrible at your job. We've got homeless people. We've got homeless veterans. We've got no school places. The NHS is in fucking crisis. We've got no houses. You're terrible at your job. You can't say that. We're going to arrest you. It's absolute bullshit. I've got a fucking eyelash in my eye. My eyelashes are so long, ladies and gentlemen, I don't need mascara. I think I've got it. That's better. Right, listen, I've got a quick tune for you. And it's only because, you know, it has been such a fucking massive hit with everybody. I've got to play it for you again. And I'm going to play the news. We'll get the phone lines open and we'll be back.
Moaning, all I hear all day is moaning about Brexit and how we're voting. All the Corbynites, they're all mad and don't really like my vote. Diane Abbott sits there scowling, blames everyone who doesn't have brown skin. No link to time, but she blames all the whites and she doesn't really like their vote. Remainers, they want open borders, they support the New World Order, but that's just bad luck because we chose to stand up and they didn't really like our vote. Everyone I see wants to get on with it and leave, but they just whinge and whine and they just take their time. They say you gotta toe the line, else we can't trade or import wine, and that's just another lie, cause they don't really like our vote. He told us not to take chances. He said that he'd have to raise taxes, and no one agreed, so we voted leave, and he didn't really like our vote. Fortunes, we were told that we'd make fortunes. In 72 if we joined you, they hoodwinked and lied, so we're saying bye-bye, and they don't really like our vote. Everyone I see wants to get on with it and leave, but they just whinge and whine and they just take their time. They say you gotta toe the line, else we can't trade or import wine, and that's just another lie, cause they don't really like our vote. protests when they gather. The Ramonas have banners. Can't remember what it said, went over my head, but they didn't really like my vote.
Fake news on the hour, every hour.
The FBI admits it failed to properly investigate a warning that Florida school shooting suspect Nicholas Cruz might carry out an attack. Last month, the person close to the 19-year-old contacted the law enforcement agency to warn about his erratic behaviour, his love of guns and the potential of him conducting a school shooting. 17 people died in the massacre in Parkland. Noah Damiani was inside when it happened. He's upset the information wasn't acted upon.
I mean, I'm frustrated. I wish that they had acted. I mean, there were so many warning signs, like our community did our part, and they failed us.
It's been revealed 13 Russians have been charged with attempting to interfere with US elections. Court documents suggest some of the accused posed as American citizens and made contact with people close to the Trump campaign. Oxfam's agreed to stop bidding for taxpayers' cash following a sexual exploitation scandal in Haiti. It has to prove to the government it can meet certain standards for safeguarding and protection. Our chief political correspondent John Craig has seen a statement from the International Development Secretary, Penny Mordaunt.
She says, clearly Oxfam have a long way to go before they can regain the trust of the British public, their staff and the people they aim to help. And she says the actions and attitude of the organisation over the coming weeks will be critical.
Theresa May held talks with the German Chancellor in Berlin. The Prime Minister reiterated the UK remains unconditionally committed to European security after Brexit. The UK arm of Toys R Us, which employs 3,000 people, could be facing administration. The retailer owes a tax bill of £15 million. In sport, Chelsea are just getting underway against Championship strugglers Hull as they look to avoid an FA Cup fifth round upset. It's 0-0 between Leicester and Sheffield United. That's the latest. I'm Elizabeth Secker.
Hello. If you're after a dry day this weekend, then Saturday is your better bet. Sunday looks a bit glum for many of us. A lot of cloud, rain and drizzle, but it will slowly be turning a bit milder. Not that mild out there at the moment, though. Temperatures, especially across the east, falling under clear skies. Further west, there's more clouds and showery rain clearing Northern Ireland, spreading across Scotland, snow and hills, eventually turning up across northwest England, parts of north and west Wales. Ahead of that, as I said, dry, clear towns and cities getting close to freezing, certainly in more rural spots over the Midlands, quite as cold across the south, a bit more cloud here. So it's a chilly start to Saturday, a damp start for parts of northwest England, and there'll be a band of clouds drifting over the Midlands into northeast England through the day. 1 or 2 showers, and we'll keep showers in the northwest of Scotland, still some snow over the Highlands. For most, it is a dry and a bright day. Could be some fog around first thing, but that should clear, and frost first thing, but then by the afternoon, temperatures up to 6 to 9 degrees. Sunny spells and light winds. Those temperatures will fall sharply again on Saturday evening if you're heading out. A few showers over northern England, 1 or 2 through central Scotland. For most, it's a dry night until the next band of rain arrives. That pushes into Northern Ireland through the early hours. Here, elsewhere again, close to freezing. And again, there could well be some
fortunes. We were told that we'd make fortunes in 72 if we joined you.
We could also see some brightness on Sunday morning across the east, whereas elsewhere the cloud thickens, the rain and the drizzle moves in. Quite a dreary Sunday afternoon for most, but notice the rain doesn't really reach staying near the southeast until late in the day. For many though it's dull and it's drab, but it is turning milder. Temperatures more widely up to double digits. That'll lead into a mild and damp start on Monday morning, it looks like. So the weekend again, in summary, most of us dry on Saturday, damp on Sunday, slowly turning a bit milder. But there are signs it may well turn colder again next week, and there's more information on that.
Remember what it said went over my head, but they didn't really like my vote.
Mostly fake news on the hour, every hour.
Oh, yeah.
get motivated.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow in Newcastle upon Tyne, 12:30, with Veterans Against Terrorism and the Football Lads Alliance. There's a bit of a march and a demonstration going on, I'm led to believe. I've been a little bit out of it this week, me back and morphine, and I'm not even going to go there. I've not had any morphine tonight, but I'm certainly down in just a couple of scotches just to take the edge off the pain, because I've been in fucking agony all week, and just to sit here at the moment is fucking killing me, trust me. But if you're anywhere near Newcastle upon Tyne, it's from Newcastle Central Station. I've got no doubt there'll be people out there loving your support, ladies and gentlemen. And this is for Brexit as well, obviously, to support Brexit from Newcastle Central Station. That's a message in the chat on Facebook from Maureen Smith. Message out to Daniel Bostock, by the way. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, and I've got another one lined up for you. It is the far right parody. I do apologise, I actually couldn't stop his last video from playing. Bit of a rookie mistake by myself. It's not often, but I do make mistakes. I'm only fucking human, do you know what I mean? Well, that was well said by Bez Oakley. The country's falling apart. Cancer epidemic. Openly admitting there are poisons in your foods to give you cancers. Homeless epidemic. Child poverty epidemic. Pension crisis. Tent cities epidemic. Child abuse in Oxfam shops in the UK. Child abuse grooming gangs in every town in the UK. All your services going bankrupt, etc., etc. And are people bothered? Not a fucking jot. Well, this is why, Bez, why we do what we do, my friend. Out to Terry Whiting. I did try Hot Rocks once. I burnt my sofa. Nigel Brown. I would love to get Nigel Bostock. Nigel Bostock. Daniel Bostock on the show. I've got no doubt at all. If he wants to come on, he can come on. The phone line will be open after the next track. If not, I'm just going to keep playing tunes. I'm going to put the number up. Or both numbers, should I say. And Skype. Well, the next tune is playing. The Far Right Parody. Daniel Bostock. Absolutely fantastic. You know what? I love it. Absolutely fucking love it.
I think there is the idea that we have to insist on our borders. There is something racist about that.
Right, so you believe that people who, like Tim Montgomery, say there should be managed or strong national borders are implicitly racist?
I think there is...
Intolerance is a preference of the far left, which portray everyone else as alright. Corbyn's poo tastes adorable, and if you dispute that, you are known as alright. John's been sniffing glue. He gets frustrated that there aren't enough immigrants. They love a bit of it. Alright. Who's that gut lord marching? You should cut down on your pork life, mate. Get some exercise. All the people, all the white people, and they all get slandered. I get up when I want, except when there's a call to prayer at the local mosque. Far right. I put my trousers on, I go on Facebook and I complain about the noise. Far right. I feed the trolls, I sometimes feed the feminists too. It gives me a sense of enormous well-being. Far right. And then I'm happy for the rest of the day, safe in the knowledge that a social justice warrior has been triggered. All the people, all the white people, and they all get slandered and branded as being on the far right. To do with supporting free speech, you know. Far right. Or mocking fallacious feminist arguments that go round and round and round. Far right. All the people, all the white people, and they all get slandered and branded as being on the far right. And they all get slandered and branded as being on the far right. jive, don't wanna stay alive when you're 25. And when you're stealing clothes from Marks and Sparks, and Freddy's got sparks from ripping off the stars from his face, funky little boat race. The television man is crazy, Sam with juvenile delinquent Rex. Oh man, I need TV when I got T-Rex. Oh brother, you get, I'm a good man. Hey, dude! Carry the news. Where are you? Stop now!
Well, that was a nice little interlude, wasn't it? Did you like that? A few tunes for you. Jesus Christ.
Hello, Davey.
Hello, good evening. Would you like to introduce yourself and let people know who you are, or do you want to say anonymous? It's up to you.
No, I'm David Wolf. I'm big on promoting myself.
Oh, good man.
It is a bit of a pseudonym.
Well, I think there's lots of people out there with those. Right, listen, so there are plenty of topics to pick between tonight, unless you've got one of your own you'd like to talk about, my friend.
Yeah, I'd like to promote our little dragon get-together in Manchester tomorrow.
Please do. The airwaves are yours. Well, the internet waves are yours, should I say. Crack on, son.
Great stuff, great stuff. Well, yeah, David Wolf here. One of the Lancashire Dragons, part of the Lancashire group. Great. It was a great idea forming the Lancashire group. Great idea forming the groups, I must admit. Great idea. Get us all together, get us meeting each other face to face, get us into a pub, and get us talking about the Constitution. Get us talking about the solution to all the problems that we're facing.
Well, you know, that's down to Nathan and Ellie May. And a round of applause. And in fact, if you don't mind, what I'm going to do quickly, because I have to do it, is just give you that. You might not be able to hear it, but certainly the others can. What a great idea. You know, we do understand the problems, you know, with any group or any organisation whatsoever. It becomes very, very difficult, actually, to get across the country, up and down the country, and, you know, it's just very, very difficult to do, especially when people have got, you know, family commitments, they've got their children, they're working, or, you know, money is an issue. To get yourselves together in your own respective areas is literally... what a great move. And Nathan and Ellie May sorted all of that out, you know, and they're still working tirelessly behind the scenes, believe it or not, putting people into their groups. There's a lot of people that aren't happy, though, actually, because some people are moderators, and some people might be this, and, you know, the top dragons, and, you know, the WPD. I mean, really, ladies and gentlemen, just fuck it, let's just get on with it. You know, listen, the structure is in place to make sure that we can move forward. It's not because anyone is beneath or above anybody. You know, it's not about that. What it's about, literally, is making sure we can move forward and take back control of this once great country, and still could be a great country under the right leadership, or at least if these people thought if they broke their oaths, there would be trouble ahead. You know, so, David, sorry for interrupting, mate. I just thought I'd stick that one in there.
Brilliant. No, we do need to all sing from the same hymn sheet, and with a structure of three sort of leaders, it keeps us all in line, saying the right things, and working together. Yeah. But what we've done up in the northwest, in Lancashire, is we've started to hold Manchester days where we'll all meet up in the Waldorf near Piccadilly.
Oh, the Waldorf, sir. Oh, the Waldorf.
Yes,
oh, lovely.
Waldorf. Yes.
Spot of lunch, sir.
Yeah, I chose the Waldorf because when Tommy Robinson came up to Manchester and we had the March Against Terrorism.
Yep.
Waldorf was one of the only pubs that would actually let us in.
Really?
And let us part of there. So I thought, you know what, let's they're going to be good people. You know, they're going to be part of not the establishment or the people that are going to, you know, say, you know what, they need a place to gather and the police don't intimidate us. So, yeah, the Waldorf near Piccadilly, 10:30 to 11 o'clock. Have a bit of a meeting there, just get together, a bit of a brainstorm, see what we can do, see what actions we can put in place, and share our information, educate more people.
How fantastic is that? You know, I mean, you know, there has been some division, you know, amongst the ranks, and we all know why. I'm not going to go into that, if you don't mind. People should be fully aware of the facts by now, especially after live feeds, etc., being put out, radio shows being done, etc. I just got my main account back today, so this is the first time I've done a live feed on my main account in over 30 days. The John Russell account doesn't seem to go anywhere, really. It's reserved for probably just Dragons only, but even so, you know, Facebook like to shut down the feeds and shut down the posts, etc., etc. So we've not really got out to as many people as we'd like. But let me just tell people this. The Dragons at the moment have never been stronger than they are right now. We have the will, the tenacity, and the gumption and the spunk to actually move on and take this forward in ways which had never been seen before. And, you know, it's not about because someone isn't here, it's because we've been now allowed some sort of free rein. Not a free rein, you know, it's almost as if our blinkers have been taken off. You know, so I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. Listen, we're in a much stronger position than we ever were because we've decided to do things in a different way. And, you know, certainly myself sitting here in me, what I call a studio, me sitting there in the studio here, you know, and Stephen down in London there, and Davey Witcher now, you know, we could bark orders at everyone. You know, people are just coming up with their own things. This is literally self-running. You know, we haven't got to get involved in anything really. You know, we have to oversee just to make sure people are up on their constitution, the Bill of Rights, Declaration of Rights, for obvious reasons. Because we don't want to, you know, be made to look silly. And some ideas are good and some ideas are bad, and it has to be run past us. That's it. You know, it's not to say that. You know, a lot of people were whining a little bit, should we say, about the fact that they've got no, you know, there's a WPD, the White Pen Dragons, we're in a signal group with what we would like to believe the closest trusted. Okay, they went through the Sadiq Khan bit with us, and they are trusted. There's no loose lips, obviously. Be very careful who you let in, because we need to move forward, and these next things that are coming up certainly don't need to be leaked in any which way, shape or form whatsoever. And obviously, you know, to have trusted people around you, these people have just gone, what I'm going to do, if you don't mind, I'm going to do this. And some other people have said, well, I'm going to do that. And now that that's been set up as you know, as regional groups, we've now split it from being from Motivate and from being from England Take Back Control and the People's Bailiffs, etc. We split it to allow everybody their own input, to actually join a group and be a voice in that group. Okay, there are too many people to deal with. You know, myself and Stephen and Dave couldn't deal with that amount of people. There is just no way. So you can now deal with yourselves. You can come up with ideas. You can do things. You know, and it's a stone's throw from your town centre. Most people are a stone's throw from the town centre, and that's absolutely fantastic, because these people now, it's not going to cost anyone any money to get out there and do something. You know, it might cost a little bit between yourselves if you know, if you're going to hand out leaflets and you've got banners and bits and pieces, but certainly for the travelling side of things, we've just eliminated that, and I think it's a great thing. And Nathan and Ellie May have done a fantastic sterling job. They really have. You know, the Ireland groups are up, the Scottish groups are up, I think, or they're being worked on right now. I've been a little bit out of it this week, to be honest. You know, morphine does that to a person, David. Do you know?
yeah. Well, make sure you do, you know, cut down on them as well when you're looking to come off them, and come off them, because we all know what the opiates do.
Well, it's actually a liquid. It's actually a liquid in a bottle. So I've been taking 5 and 10 milligrams of that every sort of 4 hours. You know, listen, don't worry about me anyway. Let's crack on with what's going on. So you've got some sort of a meeting, an awareness day going on. You're going to hand out things, and you see, this is the beauty of it, because you've now been put in touch with people that you probably didn't even know were in your area. Isn't that fantastic?
I've got some that live right corner from me, pretty much.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So we're going to start even looking into just doing, you know, in our local town as well, because there's 3 or 4 of us here in our local town. You know, we could just easily walk into the town centre and bish bash bosh, have a little meeting there.
Well, you know, yeah. I think Aaron did a nice thing one day. He actually laminated a load of documentation and stuck it on every lamppost and everywhere he could stick it. He stuck it. You know, and people were actually stopping and walking by and going, "What's that then?" What you probably want to do. See, it's funny because Facebook and YouTube are the same actually. Stolen or lost cat. And underneath it, it's got nothing to do with a cat. But this has now grabbed your attention. Please read.
Yeah,
you know.
cute kittens. Yeah. That's a good one to find as well.
Anything, David, to try and gain the people's attention, because, you know, listen, I used to be guilty of it. Obviously, I think a lot of us were until we were sort of red pilled to a point where we sort of saw what was going on and believed that, you know, on our own, we couldn't really do anything about it. You know, we can only be strong in numbers. And I think at the moment, we're the strongest we've ever been, to be honest. You know, and I think right now is probably the best time. Yes, we've still got Sadiq Khan to deal with, and that's being dealt with. I think there's lots of people that put their paperwork in. If that doesn't work, then there are other plans afoot. And we've got other plans again as well. So, you know, you see, some of the bridges that were burnt, or bulldozed down, should I say, are being rebuilt right now. So it'd be lovely to stand with other people that are like-minded. Maybe we don't see eye to eye on certain subjects. Maybe some people are a little bit, should I say, a little bit harder on certain subjects than others, or whatever goes on. Doesn't matter. It's all about the support and the amount of numbers and the numbers of people you can bring to any such event. To bolster up the movement, so pufferfish. Let's all be pufferfish. Let's be bigger and better than what we are, to make people believe that in actual fact what they should be doing is joining us, or at least standing with us to bolster up the movement again, because we are bigger and better than what people think.
Yesterday, we're getting bigger and better every single day. We're getting more and more aware. We're getting more and more people involved, and this is going to start rolling out more and more and more. People are going to be talking about it a lot more. There won't even have to be a dragon in the room for the dragons to be mentioned in maybe a month's time.
Well, you see, it's funny that, because we was actually on the news the other day. There was some sort of thing. I think you might have seen the video. I do forget the name of it, but there was been some sort of think thing. Nick Ferrari and a few others were sitting around a table there, and they were talking about things. And and straight away, Majid Nawaz turned around and said, well, apparently, they said. He didn't say apparently though. He said, they said the Sadiq Khan shouldn't be mayor because he's a Muslim. Now, I've got the original video because I posted it to Facebook. Obviously, I've downloaded it as well for my own protection, and everybody else's. Not once was it ever mentioned. Never mentioned. It was because he was a Fabian, and look at the state of London at the moment. And again, the post I put out the other day. I think it was today or yesterday. From I think it was Jane. She put a post out and said, "Look at this on Twitter from 2 months ago." That's how long that was being planned for. So it wasn't because of Trump and his comments and the to-ing and fro-ing between Sadie Khan and Donald Trump. It's because we'd already decided to do that. It just so happened that had happened, and then they blamed that on this. And, it's a ridiculous situation to be in, to be honest. But I can see nothing but greatness now. Do you know that? Nothing but absolute, fantastic, beautiful greatness. And I'm so glad. Sorry.
I have to give a shout-out to one of our fellow Dragons up here in Lancashire as well, Adam. He was doing a live broadcast with someone who's looking to replace Khan, someone who's running in the mayoral race.
Oh, would that be Winston McKenzie?
That would be Winston, yes. He had a live feed with him and a nice little interview.
Right, okay. And Adam, what Adam was that? Sorry, I know a few.
Adam Chelts.
Adam Chelts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, I'll have to catch up on that a little bit later on. It's a shame, really, because if you'd have done that at sort of 9:30, 10 or 10 o'clock, I probably could have live streamed that back over the feed. I've known Winston McKenzie for, Jesus, it must be 15 years. I know Duke and Clinton and Leroy, obviously, because I used to work for Leroy with Phoenix Elite Security. So I know of the McKenzies, so to speak. And he was actually down at... when we went down to the Royal Courts of Justice, he actually passed by when we did. I was live feeding down there for Sergeant Blackman, and he passed by. Very eccentric as Winston, a little bit naive on certain subjects. So but an all-round fantastic guy. And the best thing really is that we have now decided after Ellie May actually talked to Winston. Winston has the same problem we have, believe it or not. And I'm going to put this out there for everybody because this is just it's too beautiful for words. We are called the White Pen Dragons because we have a white dragon as a flag, right? That's our emblem, so to speak.
Light over dark.
Yep, truth over lies. We know what it stands for, and unless you can tell these people what it is, they bring up the race issue. So we're now white supremacists because we've got a white flag, right? It's you can't really make it up, but. On the other hand, Winston, bless him, is having the same problem. Did you know that?
No.
Right. Well, he's being called a racist because most of his party, most of the people that are following his party, are black. How terrible to these people. They're just race baiters. That's all they are. So. What's been put into place at the moment? I was actually going to ring him tonight, but it's probably too much of a short notice. So I've been a little bit out of it this week, as I say. I'm not making excuses, ladies and gentlemen. I've managed to speak to who I spoke to this week so far. I've not really caught up on anything, any videos. Dave, which has been putting videos out a week, I've not really caught up on anything. I didn't have time to do it. But when I had a chat with Ellie May the other night, Winston would like to bolster up what we are, and in turn we will bolster up Winston and his new party that's being launched on the 27th of February, you see, because what are they going to do if we've got Winston and all his pals there, and probably a few others, or, you know, ethnic minorities or whatever, you know, black, brown, you know, what are they going to call us racist and white supremacists then, are they? Are they going to call Winston racist when we all stand with Winston?
Like we've always said, it don't matter the colour of your skin, it matters your ideology. It matters what you want as a perfect world. And the Constitution is our foundation to build our perfect world.
Well, you know what? I don't think there's any such thing as a perfect world. I mean, you know,
well,
you know, but I think it could be probably 90% better than what it is at the moment if we was to put into place what we have and what we believe in, as opposed to these people that come out of these I don't know, educational nightmares from you know, Cambridge, Oxford. You know, etc., that think they can run the country, and all they're doing literally is lining their own pockets and running it into the ground. So, you know, Winston, if you're listening, I doubt if he is, but Winston, if you're listening, brother, I will give you a call over the weekend. It's been a long time since we've had a chat. My friend Dave Roberts down in Croydon actually knows Winston better than I do, because we both worked for Leroy back in the day. I decorated Clinton's house, and, you know, it's all been very, very, very thingy. But, you know, wouldn't it be great the next time we do something to turn up, instead of just having white males and a couple of females, which is, you know, listen, people don't know what we're about yet. Before they know what we're about, they've already demonised us as being white supremacists, which stops other people of other races joining us, you see, which is very, very bad. So if
and it puts earmuffs on people.
Well, of course it
does. On them,
earmuffs and blinkers, mate. Earmuffs and blinkers. So wouldn't it be great if Winston says, listen, I've got this thing going on, I need a few of you down here. I'll be there with Winston, not a problem at all. And Winston will be there for us. So again, you know, we're it's two birds with one stone. What are they going to say when we arrest somebody again, and then have the paperwork and put it... Listen, they already know now who we are. They know the acts and statutes now because it's gone in on lots and lots of paperwork. People have sent their paperwork in and done all sorts, right? They know what we're talking about is true. The next time we actually sit and arrest somebody, we should be able to actually grab them by the arm, call the old bill, lawful assistance, bang, 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 there's the charges, ta-la. If we do that with you know, some of Winston's guys, and whatever Winston does, he's got some of our guys, then he can't be called racist, and nor can we anymore. What are they going to do? Backtrack and swallow their words?
Yeah, cooking like turkeys.
Oh, it's fantastic. Honestly, what great news. And again, down to the due diligence of other dragons that took it upon themselves from being messaged by somebody. Would you like to speak to this person? Yes, I would. Bang, bang, bang. And that's how it's gone, you see. This circle is getting ever increasingly bigger. All right? And it's not about what you know, it's who you know. You know, Bill Etheridge, you know, as far as I can see so far, he's got the right ideas, but he's fighting a corrupt system whilst being a part of the corrupt system. So I don't think he's going to get very far, to be honest.
He's trying his best to rescue UKIP.
Well, you know, I don't think UKIP could be rescued, to be honest. But even so, you know, it was pictured in a newspaper, you know, up by his ends there, wearing a Dragon T-shirt. You know, he's been slagged off by Marty Kane and Mark Childs, this and bang, bang, blah, blah, blah. You know, and we're not a political party. Because that got thrown back out. It was thrown out. We're not a political party. We're a movement. We're a people's movement, and we do what's right by the people. So, you know, again, these people have got their facts wrong. They're spewing all this shit on fucking Twitter. You know, it's ridiculous, really. But I've got to tell you, Bill Etheridge, for what he stands for, he's a good guy. I think what he needs to do, actually, you know, his videos don't hit thousands and thousands and thousands on Facebook because he's a UKIP MEP. You know, so where's he going to go with this? I think what he needs to do is step away from UKIP and start doing something independently, is what I think, actually. And I said, you know, if it wasn't Winston, I was going to get Bill on tonight. I've not had a chance to contact either, you know, but we've been talking on messages and bits and pieces, myself and Bill. So, you know, listen, it's all about casting the net wide, my friend. Cast the net wide and see who wants to come in, right? If you can bring them in, and they like what you're saying, you can pick them up and all stand together. That's what it's all about. You see, the right has been fragmented for too long, should we say. The right has been fragmented. Not that I like to call ourselves that, but that's apparently what we're called. We're put in a box. You know, we're
We'll accept the label of being called right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're all right. Thank you very much.
Not far right, obviously. Well, no, actually, far right means extremely right.
Completely and utterly.
That's
right.
it. That's it. Yeah. So, it's about casting the net far and wide and seeing who would like to stand with us, maybe, or we can stand with them and bolster up support for each and every group. The FLA don't really need that, but there is obviously some chats going on right now. Where they love what the Dragons do, they love what they stand for, etc. So again, we'll be standing with them. They might even then stand with us. So it's about building bridges. It's about offering the hand of friendship, the olive branch, so to speak. Let's get ourselves unfragmented and join together like this government have never seen, because that, my friend, would be the penultimate turning point.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the groups, they highlight the problems. The march against terrorism and extremism, the destruction of the NHS, they're highlighting the problems, whereas we're offering the solutions.
Solutions, exactly that. And from an unpolitical point of view as well, because don't get me wrong, it was a great idea, and I was quite taken aback when he did that. You're Sergeant at Arms and saves the treasure, and I'm the leader. And I went, oh, right, okay, then let's see where we go. And it didn't sort of resonate with me until I talked to a few other people, months down the line. I went, why are you going to try and fight the political system and the establishment whilst being a part of it? You can't really do that, can you?
No, you can't. I'd like to totally wipe the slate clean and start over again.
Well, there you go.
Because I don't trust one politician in that House of Parliament. Not one of them.
No, not at all. Not at all. Now, don't get me wrong. There are probably people that went in there with great intentions, good intentions. Much like myself or yourself or anybody else would probably. But I think the gravy train and the expenses and everything else that you get, which they literally bribe you and butter you up with, will probably sway many a man or woman's minds over what goes on just for the living and the house it can give you and the wages and and the pension. Yep. Probably that it can give you. So and all the while these people get in and want their pensions, our public sector's going right up, and our private sector's being brought down to a level so far where the government just want to keep sticking their hands in your pockets to get the money to pay for the public sector, because the private sector is now too small. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, it's part of the plan. Part of the plan.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
It's part of the plan. Now with this, they're trying to open up the wealth gap as far as they possibly can, so it seems to all the students that communism, social Marxism, is the only way to get a fair and equal economy.
Well, you've only got to look at Venezuela and other places that have failed miserably down to socialism and Marxism. If the people can't see that, it's funny. Because the left walk around with Che Guevara fucking T-shirts on. They don't know what the man was about or what he did. People are saying Nelson Mandela. Let's put a statue up of Nelson Mandela. Little did you know, or anybody else knows probably, that he was putting tyres around people, tyres, and set them on fire.
Yeah.
Back in the ANC days. So these people are not very nice people, to be honest, and they're being praised at the minute. They're changing history as we speak. And the people on the wrong side of it at the moment are labelled as the right, far right, extreme right. And isn't it funny? Don't you think? I think Raheem Kassam, absolutely beautiful to see. Actually, we're called far right, and because he's not white, they had to call him hard right. They call him hard right instead of far right because he's obviously of a of a different persuasion. But you just think, wow, that's how far they'll go? You see.
It's just they just love to throw labels at people. They have to label someone, anything, everything. They've got to put a label on it, put it in its box, put it in its little pigeonhole, so they can stereotype it.
It's disgusting, and where have we come from to where we are at the moment, where we did say, names, really? You're going to call me a word? Oh my God, they're so powerful now. But it used to be powerful for me, and I think the first time I got called racist, I was really upset, actually, obviously, but, I was very upset about that, and I thought, fucking hell, if I'm going to stand up for what I stand up for, then you got to shrug that off, because you will be called that numerous amounts of occasions in the future for standing up for what you believe in. And if that's the case, then so be it. And you know what? That word that meant something 5 or 6 years ago means absolutely diddly squat now. Absolutely nothing.
Water off a duck's back.
Well, it's why should we be bothered about these words. You know, a good friend of mine years ago, Les, said words are spells, and they use these spells against you. So what you've got to try and do is use your words in spells against them. You know, so, you know, it's obvious what we're trying to do, but it becomes so much more increasingly difficult when the media are doing this and the government are doing it, and the schools, colleges, universities are doing it, your workplaces are doing it. They won't allow anybody that you know, has a different view that could be deemed as racist, because we think, well, racist doesn't mean anything. You know, a firm that's employing you, when they're sending you around someone's house to do something, you know, he's a known racist. You'd be sacked over a word. I mean, you know, where have we come from when years ago blacks and whites and Pakistanis and whites and Irish and whites, you know, all of this fucking crap. Racist, racist, racist. It was terrible back then, I know that. Of course it was. But I don't believe that we should have got rid of our fantastic comedians because they had a great joke to tell. Yeah, but this is the slippery slope that's happened. It's already gone on. And we're right down the bottom of it right now. About to jump off and actually go back up is what, you know, I can't stand the fact that these people will put you in a certain group without knowing anything about you. You know, they'll put you in a certain category, put you in a certain box, without even looking at your contents. They want to put the contents of you in that box without looking at the contents of you first, if that makes any sense. You know,
did you see Tommy Robinson having his breakfast?
Well, I've actually saved those two
Tommy
videos.
Robinson having his breakfast, and this lefty comes over and starts going, "Meh, he shouldn't be eating here. He's a racist. Meh, 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 meh." And he's like, he just stands up and says, "Well, name one thing that I've said that's racist."
None of them can do that.
Like, none of them.
No one can do that, you see. But that word is thrown around, and they believe that. And when you say, "Well, tell me one thing I said that's racist," they go, because that's the narrative given by the media that makes you believe he is, or he might be, for you to form that general opinion of him. That's slander, is it not?
That it is. And she was trying to get him to run out of the place.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And I bet it was probably in his hometown. Where was that?
I don't know. I think he was on his way to court. So I'm not 100% sure on that, because he's battled with Ali Dawah outside the courtroom as well. That was hilarious.
I actually downloaded one. I tried to get it into Wirecast, and it won't do it. It's in the wrong format. I didn't have time to change it, and I was downloading the second. So whether the second one will go in or not, I don't know. But I was going to play them both tonight, because I think, you know, people need wising up and educating probably on what we believe racism to be. I mean, I don't believe myself to be superior to anybody. You know, I'm looking after.
We're all equal. We're all equal in this land.
Exactly.
That's what our Constitution states.
Exactly that. All equal under the law. You know, I mean, really? It's, you know, but when we start seeing the people of this country suffer, then someone's got to say something. And it isn't just about whites or blacks or, you know, the Irish or anybody that over the years has been persecuted in this country from years ago over racism. That's not what it's about. We're trying to look after the people of any colour, colour, creed and religion in this country that's here already. That's what we want to do. But you can't do that when you're bringing other people in at the detriment to the people that are already here. It just can't happen like that. That will cause ill feeling. And if that's their plan, it's fucking working.
That it is, because it is their plan. And they do want to destroy our community, and they do want to kick off so they can enforce proper police state. It's almost written in the stars.
Well, you know, maybe we'll have a word with Russell Grant on that one. Russell Grant. No horoscopes. That's all right, it's a joke. You might be a little bit too young to understand Russell Grant. The fat fucker, airy fairy. You should do a write up in the paper about your horoscopes. But we won't go into that. Right. So once more, please, if you don't mind, can you just tell people where you're going to be tomorrow, and if we can get the Dragon support, please. Yeah.
Tomorrow we'll be meeting in Manchester at the Waldorf near Piccadilly around 10:30. Be there for a few hours, just sitting, chatting about, you know, getting our information across, sharing our resources, pooling our resources to see where we can go and what we can do next.
Right, you see, because certain people have certain skill sets.
Yeah.
Certain people might have certain. Sorry?
I've designed a few little flyers. So I just went to other Dragons to have a look at them, print them off.
That's
little business cards that we can hand out as well.
But you might well meet a printer that says, "I'll tell you what, I'll do you a bulk deal for this." You know, you might meet someone with a sound system, and you might say, "Well, you know what? We're going to leaflet our area. We're going to tell everyone who the Dragons are." And I'm not being funny of you. There are certain things I would do, obviously, if you're going to do that. and it would be great between lots of dragons to do that in your respective areas. It's not gone out yet. This is a fresh one, exclusive, if you like, from myself and Motivate. If you're going to try and get people on board, what you need to do is do lots and lots of leaflets with the relevant information on them. You put them in envelopes and you hand deliver through the door to the occupier. Because what you'll find is most of the time people get something through the post with pizza leaflets and this, that and the other. They put it all in the bin, don't even bother reading it. If someone's going to open up an envelope to see what it is, they'll probably read the first part, so make it very inviting. Once you've done that and you've hired a venue, I've got a sound system. I can bring it anywhere across the country at any time for anyone that wants to use it. And we can hire a venue. We can then get in that venue and invite the people down. Free of charge, obviously. There's no entry fee. And you talk to them and get people on the stage that know exactly what they're talking about. And you talk to these people about what you believe, what I believe, what the Dragons believe, and get them on side. It's only then, once word of mouth spreads, they all start going on the websites, they see what goes on. When it comes to sounding an independent in your certain respective area, the people are more likely then to vote for the independent after the fiasco we've had over decades from Labour and Tory governments to actually vote for the independent if they believe him to be worthy of voting for. So this is the way we need to go. You know, and I seriously, to be funded by anybody that had millions and millions of pounds, we could roll this out across the country, and every week, or in some places, you know, 5 or 6 places a week, we could roll this message out to people and actually stand people as an independent in that county, that town, that city, and actually have the people vote for him because they believe in what that person's saying, unlike the people that we have pre-election manifestos from, should we say. You see, there's the difference. And I think it'd be a great thing. So if anyone's out there, like the owner of Witherspoons, or anybody else that might be listening, listen, throw a couple of quid our way, because we can make a change here. And it's not through party politics, because people put party politics before their country, and that is not what you should be doing. The representative from each constituency should be representing the people and not party politics. And that's why, my friends, that their hands are tied. The governing body, NEC, the National Executive Committee, you know, and that's why I think we need to get back to brass tacks and put people in there, which is what the House of Commons was intentionally made for. You know, that's what it was made for. It was made for the common people. That was it. It was made for the common people to do the common good through and between every constituency that they represent. And what we have now are 2 parties and a 2-party system. Neither is better than the other. You know that, I know that, and I think everyone else is getting to see that. So this is the time. We said 2018 would be a great year, and it will be a fantastic year if we can get out there what we need to get out there. But it will take a bit of effort. It will take a bit of you know.
Well, what I was thinking, when it comes to a bit more nicer weather, a bit more summery, we have picnics in the parks.
There you go.
How many local towns has got a nice little local park? Get all the local people there, have a nice little picnic, have the kids running around, and have a couple of speakers. Boom, boom, boom. This is who we are. This is what we want.
That's
what you want it to.
That's it. Either, mate. You know, listen, we haven't got TV stations. We haven't got FM radio stations or DAB radio stations. We've got none of that. You know, we can't get out to the people like we should en masse because they know what sort of damage we could do if we did. So we're not allowed to do that. You know, so any other way we can engage with the public is absolutely fantastic. And from what you're doing tomorrow, fantastic. Newcastle upon Tyne, fantastic. Yep. You know, and this is what it's all about with the regional groups. You know what? Honestly, I think it's probably the best thing that's ever happened. You know, in the last 4 or 5 months, I think it's the best thing that's happened so far because that has brought so many people together in their respective areas to get out there for little or no money on travelling costs. Even if they turned up for a half hour, bolstered up the numbers and went back home again because someone's looking after their kids, you know, whatever goes on, or they get an hour's lunch break, boom, they're out. They're 5 minutes down the road. You know, it's great. And everyone can be a part of this now rather than feel ostracised from it because they can't make it and then make their apologies afterwards because they couldn't turn up at a certain venue or a certain date or a certain thing that was going on. It's beautiful. Yeah. It really is.
Well, we're trying to make it an every Saturday thing.
Right,
every Saturday we'll meet up at the Waldorf every Saturday. And, you know, there's about 10 of us so far that are going to be there.
Beautiful.
So yeah, we're getting bigger numbers every time.
Well, listen, you just got to work on that and get people to understand exactly what's going on. You know, I've got no doubt at all there will be people out there that say, oh, you're tinfoil hat wearers. The Constitution doesn't exist. You got, you know, and that's where your work's cut out. Because if you can actually teach these people, you know, you might have a few links on your phone. You've got a bit of literature with you, you know, and you can show these people exactly what goes on. Then they've got no choice but to not agree, but at least go away and do their own research, which is, you know, that's we literally emphasise that all the time. You know, if I say something that the people might not agree with, at least go and do your research on it before you want to come back and lambast me over, or you know, vilify me, or do whatever you want to do over what I'm saying. Just go and do your research and then come back and say, well, you know, actually I did see that, and wow, for you guys knowing that was fantastic, and I'm gonna do a little bit more research now. You know, rather than just going, you're all this and you're all that. It's you know, what a great thing.
The country was built upon debate, reasoned, researched debate.
Yep.
And we seem to have lost it. We seem to have lost our way with it a lot over the past decade or so, where people would rather shout someone down than listen to what they've got to say.
Well, because that's the industry standard now, isn't it? That's what people believe they have to do. You know, well, there is no structured debate. Listen, I see it all over Facebook every day. You know, maybe not this week, but you know, over the, you know, since 2009 I've had this account, and I'll see it on Facebook every day. You'll put something up and you'll go, I think fox hunting is terrible, and the next person will come up and say, well, actually, I don't give a fuck about fox hunting. And then someone will go, oh, that's terrible. And you know, and these they're not even debates; they're just arguments and name calling and fucking what. You know what? I've actually been looking at people a little bit, not you know, sort of personally, but just looking at people in general and thinking, why don't you just fucking wind your neck in and get on with the job in hand? Do you know what I mean? Get on with the task in hand.
Well done. You've got an opinion. What research or what thing have you got to back that opinion up?
Well, you know, listen, you can have an opinion. You can have an opinion, but it doesn't mean to say if you have your opinion that someone else can't have their opinion. And if you have different opinions, it doesn't mean to say you should start fighting on a post underneath, you know, the replies or comments on a post, because you differ in opinions. You know, if I can quite easily have a chat with someone and say, well, if that's your opinion, that's your opinion. Thanks very much, and I'll see you later. You know, it's not about me trying to denounce you or you trying to denounce me. If that's your opinion, then you're entitled to it. But, you know, like Steve said the other night, we have the right to reply. And that's what we've not got at the moment, you see. We've not got the right to reply anymore because that's been taken away from us.
I don't think it's being taught very well in school either.
Well, no, of course not. There is no debate in school. You do as you're told. You shut up. You know, you do as you're told. You do as you're literally... you don't even learn really anymore, do you? You're just force-fed information to believe a certain ideology, maybe. You know, so again, it sort of fucks up the freedom to debate and freedom to reply is what it does. So, you know, very strange times we live in, to be honest. You know, and I don't think it's because I'm getting old that I believe this now. I'm just, you know, I do take notice of what goes on, and I've done for a long time. And when you see these things happening, you just think, my good God, really? Why are you arguing over that? Why can't someone have the right to reply? Why can't someone have an opinion that differs from your own? And that's, you know, we're talking about the left here, obviously. If we have a difference of opinion, then we should be allowed to have that difference of opinion and walk away going, well, if that's yours, that's mine. You know, we disagree. You know, well, let's agree to disagree. Thank you very much. You know, but it doesn't happen like that.
Yeah. And they're trying to push it to get violent as well by throwing insults and just insulting people. Well, you know.
Yeah, but they don't just throw that.
When did argument become insult?
Well, you know, they don't even just do that. They throw bottles of piss at you, razor blades in apples. I've seen all that with the EDL. You know, they've done. They're horrendous fucking people. Actually, they've got no morals, no scruples, no honour. You know, and it's certainly something I would never ever do. I think a disabled person on one march got hit with something in a wheelchair. You know, they just don't give a shit. They really don't. They will push their agenda forward. Anyone else that comes along that wants to differ in their opinion to their agenda and their ideology is met with violence. You know, and that's not what the right's about. It used to be, maybe, you know, with the certain things that went on with certain groups, but certainly not now. We've all sort of calmed down, and what we're seeing actually is the the right used to be as violent as fuck and the left were down here doing nothing, and now all of a sudden it's like a role reversal, you know, and it's actually quite nice to see, because people will see through the left. Sooner or later they will see through the left. They will see the left for exactly as they are, fascists, being disguised as anti-fascists. Is what they'll do.
Well, we've had our chance to make our mistakes and learn from them. They're still kids. They don't know all, you know.
Well, yeah, but then we can't really blame them for the indoctrination they've suffered through the schools, colleges and universities, you know, because that agenda is being taught and pushed by teachers with that agenda, you know. So, again, we can't really blame them, although what we should be doing is talking to them in sensible, structured debate, you know, rather than denouncing them, oh, you fucking lefty cunt, and, you know, whatever other names you want to call them.
Or they need to be held more accountable for their actions.
Well, they should be, but they're not, are they? But the right are. The right are they?
Yeah, they'll come down on us like a ton of bricks. You know, you mention anything right, and you lose your job.
Yep. But if you're on the left, and you were caught masked up throwing bottles of piss at someone, you'll keep your job. Funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it?
Yeah. Fucking hilarious. Well, listen, Dave, it's been lovely talking to you, mate. Just once more, if you don't mind, tell the people where you're going to be tomorrow, if they want to join you in your respective area.
Yeah, 10:30 at the Waldorf, near Piccadilly, in Manchester. That's where we're going to be.
Beautiful.
Almost every Saturday. We're going to plan it on every Saturdays now.
Beautiful.
Every Saturday.
What you might want to do is raise a few quid between you all. And on eBay, they do this nice little PA system with a microphone called this mics. You've seen them out there on certain demonstrations and marches and that people do. Might be worth you all getting one of them, or, you know, some loud hailers or whatever goes on, and see if you can actually reach the people, you know, that are a little bit further away, rather than just the ones that are walking straight past. What you'll find is most of the time, if someone hears a bit of noise, they'll come over to investigate what's going on. For you to be standing around in leaflets out, a lot of people don't even take leaflets. Do you take leaflets when you're out? I don't.
No.
So, you know, you've all got to be...
What we're mainly doing is planning the future, is getting these actions together, and, you know, just planning, because there's no point us standing there shouting blah, 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 and handing out some leaflets, because that's not going to affect.
No.
What we want to do is engage the public, get them on our side, get them listening, because standing there with a megaphone, you might as well be wearing a tinfoil hat sometimes.
Well, you see, even that, I mean, if anyone's got a spare flat screen TV, you've got a generator, you know, you might have a laptop, you can plug into it, you know, play a video. Let's make a video, you know, I'll do a green screen, or someone could do a green screen video. You can play it through some speakers, you know, have the people go, what's all this then? And have a little listen and then ask for some literature, rather than you hand it out to people. That would show a little bit more interest, and actually those people will probably more, them people will probably be more willing to go away and research to find out what went on, to come back the next week and go, wow, that was absolutely fantastic. You know, listen, these are all the things we thought about doing, but funding's very light on the ground, obviously. So
that's it.
That's all it is.
And it's weird nowadays when people will pay more attention to a TV screen than to an actual person talking to them.
And that is my point. Because if people see it coming out of the telly, it must be true. In which case, that's why you use a TV with a DVD with a pre-recorded video that's been done. It's there, it's playing, and people go, "What's that then?" And they come over and have a listen because it's on the TV. You see, it doesn't mean that it's the truth. We're not the BBC, the ITV that these people trust. But even so, listen to the other side of it. Look at the other side of the coin, and maybe, just maybe, you might learn something if you go away and research it yourselves, and then come back next week and go, "That was absolutely fantastic. Where do I sign?" You know, it's listen, there are so many of us around the country now in these respective groups. We've got to hit them fucking hard now. It's beautiful.
Well, there's so many dragons out there that don't know the dragons yet.
Exactly.
That's what I think. That's what I think.
Future dragons is what you want to say. Exactly that. Well, listen, Dave, it's been lovely talking to you. I will play a quick tune. I think I had a couple of missed calls. If not, then I'm going to get the number back up on the screen and get someone else involved. And good luck for tomorrow, young man. And great stuff. Thank you very much for what you're doing. Absolutely fantastic. And anyone else that turns up there, make us proud.
That we will. All right, have a good one. Have a nice evening.
And you, mate. Speak to you soon. Cheers, brother.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
if my day be frozen, then I'm very sensible.
Oh, he's gone, look. I just answered that. Sean, what you doing? Hang on a minute, mate. Let me get you back. That was our Sean trying to ring us here. Let me just bring him back quickly. We'll live as one family. What a great show. It's my ringtone, ladies and gentlemen. I love it. Bit of old school for you.
Davey.
Sean, how we doing, son?
All right, mate, all right. Am I live on the show or not?
Of course you are. Why would you not be?
Oh, bloody hell. Jesus, I better behave myself then, mate.
Behave yourself? Come on, you do nothing back, do you?
Watch my B's and Q's or whatever.
Wow, really?
Can you
What on
turn the telly down a bit, please,
what on
Rusty?
this show? Mind your P's and Q's. Are you having a fucking laugh?
No, I'm not having a fucking laugh. How are you anyway, mate? How's that bloody back of yours?
My back's alright, it's my leg.
Why? What's wrong with your leg now?
Well, I think I've trapped a nerve, I've done something, and instead of being in my back, it's sort of travelled down the left side, and me buttock, me bum's hurting.
You know what's wrong, mate? You're getting old, that's what it is.
Oh, fuck off you. I'll cut you off. No, I'm actually having trouble walking now. We walked
That's not bloody good, mate.
No, we walked to the cafe earlier, and I had to sit down. Oh, bit of interference coming through the phone here.
You need a good massage by the sound of it, mate.
I need something. I need putting down, I reckon. They shoot horses, don't they?
Yeah, I'll do that for you, mate. No, we'll get Gallows, man, to have a test of the gallows.
Well, I'll tell you what, stretchy Bobby neck could be a good thing, couldn't it? Do you know what I mean? That might elongate your spine again. No, but seriously, I didn't go to work last week. I've been working this week. I had one day off. I've done 2 days, just couldn't go in the next day, and I've just done another 2 days. But it's literally my bum cheek, the side of my leg, the back of my knee, and my calf, fucking killing me to walk. It really is, and I've never experienced anything like that. So, yes, I'm in a little bit of pain, but don't worry, we'll see how long the show goes for. Well, listen, you've obviously been on the news site. What do you reckon?
I haven't actually, David. For some reason, I can't fucking get in, mate. I did do a thing, and for some reason, it's all fucked up, and I can't get in with my email and my password. So I don't know what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to try and do a new account or something, and you delete me, and then I can start again, mate.
Right, well, hang on a minute. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do. If he's still in there, the webmaster is still in there. Webmaster, have you got Sean on your friends list? If you have, can you make him an account and send in the details for that account so he can get back in and change the password, do what he wants to do, and let's make Sean an account. I'll tell you what, mate, honestly, once I know how to use it properly, because there's a lot of features there that we need to be using.
It sounds really great, David. I tell you what, I've been so excited about it. I've been telling everyone, get these videos out instantly across the bloody world, rather than multiple loading, all sorts of crazy things we can do.
It's beautiful.
I can't
it really
wait.
is.
I can't wait.
The
mate.
webmaster is some form of magician. He's
That's
a wizard.
what we need, mate. We need more of them in the group, that's for sure.
He's
the
a
more
wizard, mate.
magicians, the better.
Absolutely. Sean who? He's saying in the chat room.
Sean Morris.
Sean Morris, mate. Sean Morris.
Fuck's
That's
sake.
it. Look at that. Look, they're all in there already. Look, Morris. Yeah, okay. If we can, because obviously there are some people that have had a few problems this evening so far.
Well, it's a new system, isn't it, mate? It's going to take time to get it going, and some of us are idiots. I mean, I'm not tech savvy one little bit, unfortunately.
No, well, that's a shame. But listen, you know what? It was more about there were people saying, I can get in, but I haven't received a verification email.
Well, no, I hadn't. Maybe that's why I hadn't got my email back yet.
Well, the webmaster there has been adding people manually until we can get that sorted out. So he's been very
a lot at it in there, mate.
He's been very, very busy tonight. Can I just ask the webmaster if he's still there and listening? How many members have we got on the site so far since this evening? Let's get a rough look at what goes on. You see, the thing being, we've now got a Facebook live feed actually on the site next to the chat room.
That's great news.
So, what we want to do, it will take a bit of funding, obviously. This is costing me money at the minute. What we're going to do, the chat room only holds 100.
Yeah.
And that's 25 quid a month. If we want 200, the money goes up, obviously. So we've got to find a different chat room. But for the video side of things, I did have something called Ustream. Now, Ustream on an HTTP site is unsecure. We can have that because there's embedded adverts in there. We can have that on an HTTP site. We can't have it on a HTTPS site, which is secure, because the adverts are embedded within this program, and it won't allow us to do it. And that was free, and that's $99 a month. Yeah. Now, that gets us away from Facebook. There's no copyright infringement. So we're actually going to do sort of 2 hours on Facebook and then go on to YouTube. And he was going to bring the YouTube video in. But we'll have to look at other things. Listen, at the moment, the site is absolutely beautiful. There's lots and lots to do and lots to look at. Lots we can do on it as well, actually, as admins. We can actually post on there, share it to Facebook. When people click on the link on Facebook, it brings them straight over to Motivate Radio. You know, the music starts playing and they can have a little look around as well as see the post that we put out. So, yeah, it's absolutely fantastic,
that
mate.
Sounds bloody great, Davey. Can't wait to get in there, mate.
What you been up to then, Sean?
Well, today, mate, we went to Birmingham to support the Justice for the 21, the people who had died in the IRA bombing in Birmingham pub blast in 1974, the Mulberry Bush.
Yep.
So we had a great day with the true FLA lads. We did a live feed for about over an hour live feed.
Beautiful.
Already up above 5,000 views on that, so that's great news. 5 dragons there representing the family as usual.
Beautiful.
You know, for a great cause. Met some of the family of the victims, you know, and had a chat with them.
Wow, really?
And the true FLA lads were over the moon with us. Lots of more days planned in the future, joint sort of operations, so to speak. All good today, mate. Great day, a bit cold, but it was dry, which was nice.
Well, you see, fantastic. It's about networking, my friend, and that's what you did today.
That's it, mate. That's what we've been saying for months and months and months, and now we are starting to do it. I mean, I got people talking to the FLA down in East Anglia as well. We've got people up north talking to them. We've got other groups we're talking to. I've had a friend's request from Winston this morning, which I've greatly accepted.
And Mr. Mackenzie, fantastic.
Yeah. He got on to me this morning, and we had a bit of a chat, and we're hoping to do a lot with him as well, which will bring in the multi-race factor, which is what we need to get away from being accused of being crazy rights, you know, when we're not.
White supremacists. You know, honestly, listen,
it's ridiculous, Dave.
I can't think of anything better, can you, in all fairness, of standing with Winston and his party members.
It'll be amazing. I mean, what are they going to say then, Dave?
And his party members standing with us? Well, they can't, can they? They can't say that. You know, it'll stump them. It'll throw them for a loop. You know.
Definitely.
It'd be fantastic. It'd be beautiful. So, listen, what have we got coming up?
Well, we've got quite a few things actually. The real FAA have got something in London on the 22nd to do with our man Khan again.
Right.
I don't know how much publicity has been put out, so I better not say too much about that one.
Right, okay.
We've got the day in Downing Street on the 28th, where we've got dragons going down there. We've got days happening up and down the country, mate. So, I mean, there's Newcastle tomorrow for the vets, where there'll be dragons representing us up there. There's dragons actually going to be everywhere, pretty much every day of the week at the moment, Dave.
That's because we are wonderful. Everywhere, Sean. We are everywhere.
Mate, the groups were a great idea. I mean, some people have moaned about them, but me personally, I pushed for it months ago. I mean, I'd said to Nathan about county groups, you know, weeks ago we were discussing it, and I said, these county groups, great idea, Nathan. Get onto it, mate. Start it off.
Well, I'm just gonna put out something. Chris Uni in the chat on Facebook, as someone has said, I'm still not in the Yorkshire group.
Yeah,
so anyone listening, Nathan or Eddie May or anybody else that can put Chris Uni,
and we'll point them in the right direction. You know, that's what we're
Sean
there
Morris,
for, to help everyone.
That's it. You know, listen, It's not about putting people's noses out of joint. It's not about anything.
No.
It's about making sure you can meet like-minded people that are dragons in your area that you probably didn't know existed, to get together and do things. It's
exactly. I mean, tonight
beautiful.
on your show, Davey, you know, there's been 3 or 4 different people from Scotland, and we've just put out in the chat, Catherine, so and John's in Scotland as well, and all of a sudden they've connected with each other. And there's groups up there, so they're in the chat room, they think they're the only one in Scotland. Then I said Mac Kenny's in Scotland, you know, and Mac, by the way, is sending me a haggis down through the post. How about that?
Nice.
Yes.
Listen, shout out to Alan Broadbent at DJ Silverbeat, plays on a Wednesday. You'll probably be added manually, my friend, because the verification emails are taking a bit of time to come out. So
no worries, mate. Just get me in there, mate. You know,
no. Listen, you're obviously not listening, Sean. I said Alan Broadbent at DJ Silverbeat. He's actually he's waiting for a verification email, so it was just a little note. A little note to Alan, a little note to Silverbeat that you don't have to wait for the verification email. You should literally be able to sign in and use the chat room anyway, because you're being added manually as we speak. The people that are having problems with the verification emails, it's the first night it's gone live. Don't worry about it. It's all good, right? So just wait for that. Anyone else having the same problem, if you've made an account, then just try and sign in, because you should be able to sign in and use the chat and do what you want to do, because you are being added manually as we speak by the webmaster himself. All right, so just to anyone that might not be too sure what goes on with the website, you're certainly being added as we speak. And I've not. Oh, Sean, check your Facebook Messenger, mate.
I will, mate. I will have a look at it.
The webmaster.
As soon as I come off the blower, mate.
The webmaster. Listen, his identity is under wraps, please. By the way, so don't tell anyone what's what. But he has certainly sent you a message, which should be your login details for the Motivate site.
No worries, mate. No worries. That's great news. Great news, mate. I'll look into that as soon as I come off the blower with you, boy.
Fantastic,
that's
man.
Great,
fantastic.
Yeah. Have you seen Mr. Witcher today, or talked to Mr. Witcher today?
You know what? He actually called me at 20 to 9, and I was trying to get ready for the show. I had about a 5-minute conversation and said, Dave, I'm so sorry, I've got to go, I've got to get set up, and he went again. So I've not really... And you know what? This week, again, I've not really had a chance to catch up on anything at all.
Well, I noticed you were a bit quiet in our other group, mate, you know, and I was quite pleased to hear from you last night when you finally popped up after about a week or so. But we knew you were working hard on this Motivate website thing.
Well, it wasn't me, obviously, but it was me back and working,
well, you've
mate.
Got to be there, you know, pointing direction and all that, haven't you?
Silver B, you have now been approved on Motivate, so sign in, brother. Have a little look around, see what you think. Right, okay, Sean, well, listen, I can only wish you the best of luck.
No worries, mate.
Have a great day. And to anyone else travelling the country tomorrow, or you know, in your own little areas, doing what you're doing, fucking massive kudos to all of you, because this is bigger than just 1 man, 2 man, 3 man, 4. This is about all of you in your respective groups, in your respective constituencies and areas, taking back control of this fucking country. And let's fucking do this, people. Let's have it. Come on. There's no excuse anymore. I can't make it. It's too far. We've eliminated that, haven't we, Sean?
Yeah, mate. We certainly have. You can get something within 20 miles of you now every day, probably.
Well,
in the counties, which was the plan.
5 miles,
amazing,
10 miles,
mate, amazing.
You know, 5 miles, 10 miles, a little bus ride here and there,
so
bang,
easy.
bang, bang.
You know,
yeah,
so easy now, which is what the main thing was, the travelling. You know, not everyone can travel, so with the county groups, you can meet people within 20 miles of you, do a day, your own thing, film it, we'll put it out on our things, we'll come and help when we can. Give you all the advice you need and everything. So
beautiful. I do
believe
great
idea, mate.
Mr. Lang has just joined the chat room.
Has he?
Yes,
Say hello,
he has.
Mr. Lang. I'll give him a private message later on. See how he is.
He's probably just heard you, mate, because he's in the Motivate chat. So fucking fantastic. All right, Sean. Well, listen, brother.
Dave, I'm going to go, mate. I'm going to leave you to it. You have a great weekend, mate, and loving the show tonight, by the way.
Thank you very much, young man.
Keep up the fight, brother.
Well, listen, never ever
Right,
will I walk away or do fuck all. It's too beautiful to walk away from. You know that, and I'm here for the long.
Mate, we're going nowhere, mate.
I'm here for the long haul. You know that. I think everyone else does.
And me, yeah. Even though we have the difficult periods, sometimes we'll still crack on, mate, and come through it all. So, see you soon, mate. You take care.
Nice one, Sean.
We'll have a chat soon, all right, mate?
Cheers, buddy. Stay safe, mate.
Bye, mate. Yeah, and you, mate. And you. Bye.
Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
In the deserts of Sudan and the gardens of Japan, from Milan to Yucatan, every woman's every man. Hit me with your rhythm stick, hit me, je t'adore, ich liebe dich. Hit me, hit me, hit me, hit me with your rhythm stick. Hit me slowly, hit me quick, hit me, hit me, hit me. In the wilds of Borneo and the vineyards of Bordeaux, Eskimo, Arapaho, move their body to and fro. Hit me with your rhythm stick. Hit me, das ist gut, say, fantastic. Hit me, hit me, hit me, hit me with your rhythm stick. It's nice to be a lunatic. Hit me, hit me, hit me.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you don't mind. I'm in fucking agony here. I really am. I'm going to be off at about 12 o'clock. I'm going to get some morphine down my neck and get to bed, I think. I mean, I can't even fucking walk properly. I'm going to need a Zimmer frame at this rate. Wheelchair, fucking crutches, walking stick, I don't know. Just lop it off. Fuck it. There's no pain. No leg, there's no pain. So it's probably be a 12 o'clock cut-off, if you don't mind. Thanks to all of you so far that have joined the site. I've got no numbers yet at the minute, unless I missed that. Webmaster, how many people have joined the site at the moment? You see, what we wanted to do was come away from Facebook and bring people back to Motivate. So this show tonight will probably be one of the last ones on a Friday on Facebook Live, because now everybody is able to get on there They're able to chat in the chat room. They're able to listen to what goes on. We've changed the format of music as well, ladies and gentlemen, to bring people over. Because I do know, obviously, that I was trying to bring the younger, or maybe the older generation as well, with drum and bass and jungle, garage and house and electro and all sorts of gear. That's no longer the case. What we have at the moment, and will have for the foreseeable future, are 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, noughties, all years, all genres, mixed up, on shuffle, playing all day long on Motivate Radio. Alright, that's what we're doing. So, oh, hang on a minute. Hello and good evening to you, sir.
Hello, Davey.
How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yes, I'm not too bad. Hello
and good evening to you, sir.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, could you turn your radio down a bit, mate?
There's a demo in Newcastle, and do you know when it's... I'll turn the radio off.
Sorry, mate.
I'll tell you easy. Sorry, mate. I'll turn it off.
It's just very confusing otherwise, Brian, as you can understand.
Wait. Hold on.
It's just very confusing otherwise, Brian, as you can understand.
Yeah, I know.
Wait.
Right. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can. I still hear a little bit in the background, but don't worry about that for the minute.
Right, I'll turn it off. I'm going to the demo tomorrow in Newcastle.
Fantastic.
No, I'll try and turn this off. I'm going to the demo tomorrow in Newcastle.
Fantastic.
No, I'll try and turn this off. Right, I'm not sure the time of the demo tomorrow.
12:30, I do believe, young man. 12:30 from the station.
Right, okay.
12:30, I do believe, young man. 12:30 from the station.
Right, I'll go tomorrow off...
Okay. 12:30, I do believe, young man. 12:30 from the station.
Yeah.
Right, I'll go tomorrow off...
I don't suppose you could turn it off, Brian, could you? Do you want me to call you back?
This fucking stupid thing, I'm trying to turn it off.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll play a quick tune, Brian, and I'll call you back in. Is that all right?
Okay, mate.
All right, then, mate. Give me 2 minutes, and I'll call you back.
Right, okay.
Okay, then, mate. Speak to you in a second. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. That's Brian done. He's obviously got a page open somewhere he doesn't know about. So what we're going to do is play you a quick tune, and we'll call him straight back in after this. Our lovely Brian Bacon, ladies and gentlemen.
As I lie here, thinking of you, I realise that nothing is new. Lying in my bed, thinking of you, I realise nothing is new. You say you love me, but want success. I say you're lying, nothing has changed. This is a sign of the times, peace of more to come. This is a sign of the times, time to be alone. This is a sign of the times, peace of more to come. This is a sign of the times, time to be alone. You're weak in love. You give me nothing more than a shove. I walk alone now, thinking of you. I realize now nothing is new. Why do we go on with this useless love affair when it seems to me that you don't really care? I realize now nothing is new. Time to live my life without you. I sit alone now, wondering about you. I'm living my life. What do you do? You say you want me, but need success. I want your love, boy. Want nothing less. It's the sign of the times. Peace of more to come. It's the sign of the times. Time to be alone. It's the sign of the times. Peace of more to come. It's the sign of the times. Time to be alone. It's the sign of the times. Peace of more to come. It's the sign of the times. Time to be alone. It's the sign of the times. Peace of more to come. It's the sign of the times. Time to be alone. It's the sign of the times. Peace of more to come. It's the sign of the times. Time to be alone. It's the sign of the times. Peace of more to come.
Hello, Davy.
Ah, that's better, Brian. How we doing, mate? You all right?
That's not too bad. I'm so worried at the moment about our country being overtaken by the leftist thinking of the way our country is being run at the moment.
Yep.
They're so concerned about let all of these Muslim people come into the country and do what they're going to do to our country, and it's so annoying. Why did they do it, Davy?
Well, you know, I mean, we could probably see a few instances of why that is. I think the first one would be, it's the age-old tested one so far, of the Kalergi plan, Richard Coudenhove. I do believe the only thing that scuppered his plans was World War II. We can also see again, probably, that over the Bank of England giving money to the government over birth certificates, right? Apparently, because we're not very well off anymore, because we've been decimated to a certain point, what we're looking at probably is that our birth rates have gone down. The government can't borrow any money against our children because we're not having any children. So what they need to do is import migrants and immigrants that will have 4 wives and 25 children. They're breeding like rabbits, and that allows then the government to go forward with a birth certificate and get money, saying that this person could be worth X amount of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of pounds in their lifetime, and they're borrowing that money and putting that dent against our children, or their children, or whatever goes on. So there's a couple of reasons as to why. What's your take on it, Brian?
Well, why are all the Western countries at the moment, you're talking about America, Canada, Germany, Holland, France, they're importing all these people, and I know the Kalergi plan. I know all about that.
Yep.
Are they implementing that plan?
Well, it seems to me, I can't see any other reason really, apart from the birth certificate state and the fact that this country's in so much of a mess financially, that they need people in here having children. They don't really mind health tourists coming to the NHS and having children, do they, and going back home again. So they're not really going to mind other people coming to our country and putting a burden on the NHS through having child after child after child, because once that birth certificate is signed in this country, they can go to the Bank of England and borrow money for the economy. It's a toss-up really between the two. I mean, there might be other reasons, but I really can't firmly put my finger on either one at the moment. It seems to be a conspiracy on the pair of them together, to be honest.
We're not talking about Polish immigrants or Russian immigrants or Spanish immigrants. We're talking about maybe Islam-based immigrants coming into the country, and the majority of them do not work. We've seen the implications of these people will not work in this country because they don't believe in working for a country that sort of believe in sort of.
You know, Brian, is it any wonder, really, right? You know, when you look towards to the Middle East and the way that it was run by certain people that our government didn't like, the American government didn't like, right? The likes of Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi, etc., etc. You know, I'm just going to point you in this direction a little bit as well, because again, you know, I like to take all the facts and look at them equally, shall we say. These people, when they were married, got a house, they got a payment, there was free gas, free electric. You know, they were pretty well situated in their own countries. And what we've done, now this could be down to the Kalergi plan or needing people for the birth certificate thing to borrow money. If I'm talking out of line, ladies and gentlemen, then please let me know this is what I solely believe. You know, what we've done in actual fact is destabilise those countries through our Western intervention, with no say-so from myself or from the constituents of that country. They've gone to war in that country. They've taken out the people that actually led that country pretty well, actually, I would say. You know, we might not agree with it, but they did. And now what we've done is allowed IS and all sorts of people to run fucking rampant and riot, you know, in those places there and kill people, etc., etc., trying to introduce Sharia law that people want to get away from. Now, I've got no doubt at all there are some refugees out there that are actual refugees that are fleeing a war-torn country, but it certainly isn't from Eritrea, is it? It's not from Africa. It's not from Nigeria, is it? You see, so what we're doing at the moment, under the guise of us believing that these people are fleeing a war-torn country, we're letting all these people into all of our Western countries, and for what reason?
Well, the majority of sort of immigrants coming into Europe, North African is the main thing at the moment. They are not immigrants who come through via well, they're all illegal immigrants, they're all. And they're not what they would concern as what's the term? I've lost it. They're not coming through it as people who are leaving war-torn areas, and they're not war-torn areas, most of them.
Exactly.
They're not.
No, exactly.
And to concern them as a legal immigrant, immigrants to come into this country because they're fearing war-torn countries. They're not from war-torn countries.
We see, and therein lies the problem, you see, because what we're led to believe through our media and our government and certain charitable organisations, we need to help these people because they're fleeing a war-torn country. Now, is that because they're warring? Is that because they're warring between themselves in that country, or is it because we have actually destabilised that country? You know, do we feel a certain sense of obligation actually to bring these people into our Western countries over what the West have done?